This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 528 for the week of Monday, July 16th, 2018. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And also, my name is Alex.
Congratulations, Alex. On today's show, we have very special guest translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump, Stephen Paul. How's it going, Stephen?
Hey, pretty good. Getting myself psyched up for San Diego Comic-Con this week.
Nice.
Hurting yourself.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're doing there?
I do have a panel. We have a manga Lost in Translation panel. There aren't that... I'm like trying to think of who else is on it. I guess Mari from who translates Naruto and now Boruto will be there, and that's about it as far as like people with famous projects or whatever. But some editors and some other folks in the general sphere of localizing Japanese properties. So you can come by and look at that. That's on Thursday night. You can look at my Twitter. I have it linked. But yeah, not a lot of like One Piece stuff going on at STCC as far as I know.
There rarely is. I know it's the author of My Hero Academia is going to be there, right?
Yeah, he will be at their Shonen Jump panel. They might. I know at AX they gave out a free Color Walk compendium, so there might be a One Piece prize, but I don't believe that there's anything more specific than that planned.
Yeah. Look, if you want your One Piece swag, you could always go and get a Skechers pair.
Oh yeah,
Skechers. Yeah, they have those out. You can check more about that out on our website. But we have another guest. We have the director of Rick and Morty, Teen Titans Go, and a lot more. We have Brian Newton with us. How's it going, Brian?
Hey, how's everyone going?
Everyone's going well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel the excitement.
We're all going. Yeah.
How are you?
We're all fine here. How are you?
You're making it, Brian.
Kind of. It's too fucking hot.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Oh crap! I shouldn't have said the secret. Oh crap!
Anyway, could move past that Simpsons reference and start with today's show. We're going through chapter 911 today of One Piece. We also have a double anime recap. Ed, what are we doing with Sam this week?
8:44 and 8:45.
Nice. And we're escaping from after the fallen cake now. That's where we are, right?
No. They are on the run.
Right. That's right.
Heading to the seducing.
I mean, the cake has fallen, and now they're trying to escape. I said it like
Yes.
they were trying to run away from a fallen cake, which isn't exactly what's going on there.
That was what we did on the last anime recap.
So we have a bunch of news. The first news is kind of, it's both internal and external for the One Piece podcast here. The second annual One Piece Day, or I guess really the first official one to happen after it was announced last year when we heard the live action TV series for One Piece was coming out. There's another one this year at Tokyo Tower on July 22nd, and we're going to have not one of our members there, not two, but three. Greg, of course, is supposed to be there. I believe he's going to be doing something.
He's on some kind of segment, some kind of entertainment thing there.
Yeah.
So he's not just there to check it out. He's there to actually participate.
Yeah, he's actually there as like as a participant, as Stephen said. I just repeated what Stephen said. Anyway.
Presenter of some kind.
Is a presenter of some kind, yes. You see, I'm very good at saying what Stephen says right after. But there's also two of our members who are going to be there reporting. We have William and Kelly, our editor-in-chief. So look forward to updates straight from Japan that entire weekend. I don't know. I should probably have checked what days of the week that's going to be. Yeah. So it's going to be July 20th through the 22nd. I think there's a bunch of festivities going on there. I'm not sure, though. Don't quote me on that part. Anyway, there's more news. It's Food Wars related. Steven, do you want to take the mantle on this?
Oh, yeah. So to celebrate the years of Sanji, we have a crossover. It's the latest One Piece related crossover. This one Oda has basically nothing to do with. It is literally titled Shokugeki no Sanji. And it is going to be in next week's issue in both the Japanese and English. And it is Yuto Tsukuda, the author, the team from Food Wars, Shokugeki no Soma, doing a one-shot about Sanji. So, yeah, I mean, we know what Sanji's character is like, and we know what Food Wars is like. So I guess, let your imagination run wild as to what this is going to be like.
I prefer not to do that.
So what the hell do we call it? Sanji Wars or something?
Goodbye clothes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Boku no Hero Sanji Wars.
Yeah.
My Academia.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you nailed it, Steve.
My Horny Academia.
There's also a bit more news about the Vivre card data book. Steven, if you want to go through that as well.
Okay, I see what we're doing here. So the details are coming out finally. We've got a picture of it. So they haven't strictly been calling it a data book. They've been calling it a fan book, and I think we can kind of see why now. So Vivre card is the name of this project that was done with some input and kind of brainstorming, I believe, of the One Piece Manias, the Brain Trusts team, including Greg. And it appears that what this is going to be is like you buy a binder. It's not a book. It is a binder, and it comes with large cards that correspond to each character. And so I guess it's going to be like character profiles and other stuff. I'm not sure. They have not gone through a full unveiling of all of the things, but there are pictures from the ads in Jump, so you can kind of if you look online somewhere, you can find an image of that and kind of zoom in and try to make out what some of the some of the layout details and the way that they're organizing the information on them is. But it seems like the idea is that you'll buy it, and it's sort of like a starter pack of sorts. Like you'll get 30 something cards, and they plan to put out packs of new cards like monthly. And so I think like their initial plan is, what did they say, like possibly up to like 400 cards or so, something like that. So there's going to be a lot of it. I don't know if that is supposed to be like Magic the Gathering, like you're going to buy a blind pack, or if they are very specific things. And I don't know yet if this is the kind of thing that you'll be able to buy from like Amazon Japan, or if you'll need to go through a smaller online retailer if you want to get these delivered to the United States or other countries. So that's all I know for the moment, but it is definitely, as you can probably guess, that is a different idea. This is a very different project, and it makes sense now that they were saying it was going to be something that was like, what do they call, like a 10-year project, or it was a project 10 years in the making. It was meant to be, quote unquote, the last fan book or something like that. So the idea is that it's kind of infinitely expandable in certain ways. Yeah, I guess we'll still find out more about that as the lead up goes, but I believe it's early September is when those are going to roll out. And I'm certainly looking forward to trying to get my hands on it. So I'll be able to talk more about it.
It's hard to explain my pirate info cards.
Is that a Yu-Gi-Oh thing?
Come on, people. Where's Casey? Casey gets it.
Hopefully he'll be back soon. So I have no more questions for Steven, so why don't we get into the manga recap? Are you guys ready?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't need me anymore?
This is the manga recap for Chapter 911, Adventure in the Land of Samurai. We're officially in Wano, but let's start out with the front of Shonen Jump.
Right.
Ed, what is going on here? Please explain it to me.
See, it looks like the current writers of Jump are drawing their favorite characters in their style. That's how I saw it described.
Yeah, I would have thought there were more that they could.
They wrap around the back if you saw the Japanese one.
Right.
Posted it on Twitter.
Right. And yeah, I don't think they have them shown elsewhere in this issue.
No, not that I could tell.
I don't know. I'm still turned off by the just the uncanny valley, the twins.
Goku looks weird.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little last week, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine. I've grown accustomed to his face.
But what's interesting, we've seen Oda draw Goku before, and that one was spot on.
That was a long time ago.
Eh.
Yeah, his style's changed a lot too. That's
Also, someone mentioned last week that was in an action shot. This is just sort of
Yeah.
standing there right next to each other.
So Greg had a little like Q&A thing on YouTube the other day, and he read something that was in the Japanese version of this week's Jump, where Oda had a comment about this, saying that like, I know this is Goku, but it's not really Goku. Like I can never like I don't think that what I like if I draw Goku, then it's not really Goku. So this isn't. Don't worry, this isn't Goku. Something like that. I'm just paraphrasing it. There was a lot more to it, but Oda was basically sort of taking the onus for it not looking exactly like Goku.
I mean,
What's a Goku?
to be fair, I think if you take Luffy out of that picture, it looks more like Goku in Oda's style.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm like covering it with my.
Yeah, if you do that,
You just cover the face.
maybe it's that I've become accustomed to it. Let's talk about things we could probably agree on.
Let's
a
talk
little
about the
bit more.
author comments, Zach.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's talk about the author comments, Ed.
Well, Oda, he received his rose from the Bachelor of Japan's Rintaro Oyaizu, so he's thinking of becoming his bride. Very progressive from Oda this week.
I don't
How
think
many
it's
bachelors are there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, how could you resist whatever his name is? Anyway, let's talk about the color spread.
Oh boy!
Alex, you
So-
want to start us off? It sounds like you have opinions.
Oh man, it's fucking awesome. It's so good.
This is probably one of my all-time favorites now.
Yeah,
Color
there's-
spread.
It's up there.
There's
Ed,
so much.
Do you want to do a
movement.
description? Yeah.
Sure, it looks like a cross between Reading Rainbow and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood in the background there, and One Piece in big colorful letters, and there's a poof, a big gust of air and dust coming from the left side as Luffy runs across the panel, leaving a streak, chasing a cat who has taken his sandwich.
The burger.
It could be.
Is it?
I think they're all got burgers and fries.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
They
that's
made
true.
burgers.
And everyone's stuff is getting blown away by but there's so much good stuff here. Chopper just upside down, Frankie getting hit in the face, Brooke's head flying away, Robin with the hat just catching it because she's cool like that. And, what did you guys like about it?
It's so animated for a still image.
It took me a while to recognize where the bikini top that Sanji's holding came from. I initially assumed, like, I saw the bikini top and bottom, and I assumed that Luffy ran so fast he knocked the underwear off of Nami.
God.
No, it's clearly
That's
coming
presuming
from
a
her
lot
bag.
about
yeah.
how Nami's dressed anyway.
Yeah, because even in that one shot, I was like, I don't know if there's anything down there.
I'm a big fan of what she's wearing though. I'm a big fan of what everybody's wearing. Everybody's sort of looks like they just came from. I was gonna say IKEA, but they don't really sell clothes there. This whole thing reads very Scandinavian to me in terms of the colors that are used, like Germanic and like in terms of how it's presented.
So
Like
the housing
kids' art.
designs in the logo also kind of read
Yes.
like Northern European as well.
Mm-hmm. That's like the main thing that I read from it.
It's got
and-
that Richard Scary look, kind of.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna.
Thanks for saying that, Steven. Because it's so kind of like mid to early '80s in design and color.
Mhm.
I'm also looking at their the wrapping paper, and it also looks sort of like that too, like kind of like 70s ish. Sid and Marty
Well,
Krofft.
colors too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a weird theory about it.
But Zach, the moon isn't anywhere to be found.
We'll get to that later in the chapter. Luffy's shirt is. Do you think this is at all timed with the One Piece Day thing? Because it says Holly, and could it say Wood on the other side? Also, the fact that the book has popcorn and soda, and it's kind of like not just American food, but also like movie food. I mean,
I was wondering that too when I first saw the popcorn. I thought, like, who just walks around with a tub of popcorn?
Well, the tub of popcorn says burger on the side.
What about that package that Frankie is directly holding in his hands? It has a message on that.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Can you
say,
read it?
so at the top, Nimotsu means like luggage or something that you carry around, bags. So, yeah, but then like
Second one is Okuten.
Okude something. Yeah, maybe like don't have a place to put down your bags or something like that. Could be.
that sounds like an Oda joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like,
so like he's got the bag of Musha Kora there.
Look at Frankie's face. Frankie and Chopper have the best faces in this.
they're great. It looks like he forgot to draw Robin initially, so he's just like, "Oh, I'll just put her in the background." Pretty good move.
She's
Yeah.
cool.
That's the case. God,
Robin's hanging too far away from the group.
There
Brooks-
probably wasn't enough room to put her like
Yeah.
a year closer to the other, so you just shrunk her down.
Brooks' little drink carrier. It looks like they're titled rum, like rum. So do they have? They got a
Oh,
6-pack
yeah.
of rum.
They're diet sodas.
From the
Yeah, it's,
pirate burger.
Rum burger.
It's extremely
the-
diet, Zach.
Rum. So no one will believe your story.
Oh man, I just noticed Frankie's shirt.
Oh yeah, blowing in the wind there.
Fish.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
got fish and it's got like a cute green.
And we have Musha Kora, which I'm guessing is
Cola.
cola. Yeah.
That one package that's next to Chopper kind of looks like a devil fruit design, but
A little bit.
It's like Nami's tattoo.
So that is our 8-minute recap of the color pages.
well, it's a good
it's so
color.
good.
It's a
It
good
is
color
good.
scheme.
It is. I'm just saying let's start the chapter.
Olympus, doing this shit.
Don't worry, we still get Orlumbus in Weekly Shonen Jump, so you don't miss him this week.
Yay!
Ed, what's going on the first page of the chapter?
Well, Zach, this is chapter 911. Adventure in the land of adventure. Wow, adventure in the land of samurai, and there's a fierce standoff, and we get more Japanese shamisen sounds, and he just pulls like I forget the monkey's name, the chimp's name,
It's just
Baboon. Baboon's name. Yeah, he pulls his.
Baboon.
Baboon.
So there, he pulls his sword back, and the boar lion dog thing is just it's actually woofing like a dog. It's it's kind of cute. So Luffy is confused. It's a wild something and a wild something else. Whatever. Don't hit the ship. Oh yeah, now I remember. And we see what he remembers.
Before we move on, Luffy's catchphrase this chapter is, well, whatever. Please pay attention to the amount of times it shows up. Anyway, Steven.
Okay, so Luffy is now reflecting on what happened to get him here. Well, okay, so the ship went up the waterfall. And you could see land in the distance. We got stuck in the whirlpool before we got there, which, again, just makes it even more confusing because I'm like, well, if the land is in the distance, then what is the waterfall coming off of? Like, shouldn't that also be land? Anyways, so we're reflecting here. Sanji is telling Nami and Carrot to grab on so he can jump with them to dry land, and then he makes an excuse that Chopper and the rest of them are too heavy for him to lift, so he is abandoning them. And Luffy offers his stomach as the Trembopoline, and he will follow right behind. And Sanji then utilizes that, jumps up to the top of the mountain there, and says, "See you again soon." And Luffy's just he's having a blast here. You bet. And now it's his turn. So he's kind of swooping around the mast of the Sunny and getting ready to hurtle himself upward and reassuring the ship that they'll just come back and find it later. So putting a lot of faith in the ship without anyone to pilot it.
The ship is not so sure.
Yeah, the ship is like, what? You're doing what? And before Luffy can get out of the predicament there, the octopus, with tears streaming out of its eyes, latches onto him for dear life. And
Maybe
Luffy's
he's not
like,
the Octopal we all thought he was.
No,
I'm sorry.
he's dragging them into the Octopool, as the ship is it's sinking fast. It's stuck in the middle, and Luffy just wants the octopus to cut him a break as the octopus boom boom boom, and Luffy comes out of that reminiscence, and then he's like, okay, yep, that's right, that's the last thing I remember, and then here I was on this beach, and so am I on top of the falls? Did we go back down? Am I in Wano? And he's taking the time to think about this. All the while in the background, there's just a cartoon storm cloud as the baboon and the Komainu, the lion dog, are fighting. And then Luffy takes off his hat, or he looks at his hat. He says, "Hey, wait a second. Where's the Viver card that's supposed to be stuck in here? Oh no, I lost it. It fell into the sea. Oh well, whatever." So there you go. Number 2.
Number 2.
He recovers very quickly. And then further inland, there's some mysterious figures. We see the outline of some kind of a strange, like raptor-like mount that is running along, and someone is begging for mercy. "Let me go already! I didn't say nothing. Give me back my rice." And there's a figure riding this this reptilian creature, and holding a tiny bag, and he's saying, "No, I heard you say it. You said it loud and clear. You're a servant of the wicked Kozuki clan. That is a serious crime, so you'll either be sold to the pleasure district or just tossed straight in jail. You're not getting off easy."
So we have the figure in the bag, kind of see an outline of like a young child's face, and it's like, "But I didn't." And then the hand that's riding the mountain thing shoves the child back in. It's like, "Shut up for now. We're on duty." "Oh, look, there's a ship on the beach. There's my baboon, and he still hasn't finished off one measly Komainu lion dog. Alas, how low." This is him referring to his bodyguard, which I find humorous. "Alas, how low my bodyguard's reputation has sunk." It's like I don't think this guy can handle that giant beast. He's just being a dick for no reason. And then this was really tough to tell, but it's within context. It makes sense. There's a thought bubble coming from the rustling bag, the way this presumable child is in. And it goes, "Oh, it's Komachio," if I pronounce that correctly.
Yeah.
Komachio?
2 for 2 so far, buddy.
Yay. And then they
Name's
go,
Luffy too. Don't forget.
"You mean what was it called? Like a couple of chapters ago on the wanted poster? Luffy? Luffy?"
No, it was Luffy. I think it was just one.
It was Luffy with an E.
That was
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Luffy.
Oh,
Luffy. It's Wu Fei's
Luffy.
younger brother.
Luffy.
I forgot to go
Luffy.
back to look at old chapters to see if he ever misspelled his name on previous wanted posters.
Has the One Piece wiki already renamed Luffy?
And then we continue, and the next panel goes, the two mounted guys, they go, "Headliner, we found it. There was a ship trying to illegally enter the country." And over the Denten Mushi, it goes, "How many are manning it?" "I see just one. We'll put him to sleep and bring him back with us." Should make for good manual labor. And this guy who's wearing a Batman mask cocks his gun and prepares the fire. He has Luffy in his sights, and all of a sudden he's like, notices something weird, and off to the very left edge of the panel, we see and he's like, "Huh?" And then in the next page, this awesome panel of Luffy like whipping back his right fist and connecting the Batman Mount dude in the side of his fucking face. It's so good. I guess he's supposed to look like a Doberman. I don't know. I can't make up my mind. But
Headliner is such an interesting name, though.
Is Headliner is Headliner a game?
We'll talk about that at the end.
Okay.
Challenge him to
Fine,
a
I'll wait.
for
Yeah.
game of
the
horse.
main event.
and then Yeah, and then after the recovery of that whip, like Luffy's fully turned around and facing these guys charging at him on this giant lizard. And then we see a quick peek of the child that's inside the bag, appears to be a young girl. And Luffy kind of has a very wicked expression on his face.
Yeah.
He goes, who are these guys all of a sudden? I assume this was a bit of Luffy tapping more into his ability to predict the future a little bit. Because this didn't seem like just basic hockey. This feels like, he knew the attack that was coming. And one of the last mountain guys goes, "Oh, you're gonna get it!" And then over the Denden Mushi we hear, "Hey, what's going on over there?" "Nothing, sir." And we see the sight again. Luffy prepares to do a whip kick, and
we go to probably one of the most beautiful panels in the entire chapter. Luffy kicks this dinosaur lizard mount. Bottom of the right, it's like right in the jaw. So the head kicks back, hits this guy's rifle, and the rifle just explodes in his face, and a gorgeous looking explosion drawn here. And both of them get knocked down. And Luffy kind of just has a smirk, and he says, "Speech sure is noisy." That's like his action movie turn to the camera line. And this guy says, "Damn it, baboon!" Deal with and the name of this dog is apparently Komainu.
No, that's the name. That's what kind of dog it is. He doesn't. He doesn't know.
Yeah, this is the kind of dog.
Komainu.
Komainu. There we go. Oh yeah, because Ainu means dog, and Inuyasha means dog demon.
Dog Yasha.
Wow, Dog Yasha.
Capture him now. No, screw that. Just kill him. Consequences be damned. And the big baboon prepares to strike with his katana. Luffy's kind of just staring, just taking this in. The baboon lets out a big kyo. And Luffy just looks up and says, "What?"
And he's like, "What?
What?"
You see the vein in his forehead.
And remember, Luffy has Shanks Haki now, so it has the power to make any animals stop what they're doing. Stop it. And he kind of just kneels and he scratches his head like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
That one shot of Kumainu in the background's the best, though.
Just with his big tongue sticking out. And then we get this guy yelling. I do like his uniform, by the way. He must be a subscriber to Weekly Shonen Jump. He says, "Hey!" It's like, "What are you doing?" And before he could yell at his baboon further, he gets gonked on the back of the head by this little girl who just has this big old wooden stick. And
there's a cool sound there, which is like after she hits him on the head, it's like shh, and the sound of the waves crashing on the shore. That's all. It's one panel of that that's nice.
I would have mentioned it.
I love that. Anyway, Luffy has got a quizzical look on his face. He says, "What are you doing?" And this little girl in stitched up rags named Otama says, "What do you think? I'm surrendering. It's a surrender pose." And Luffy's like, "I'm not going to do anything to you." She says, "Really? You won't? Can I borrow some of your time? It's a good opportunity." So she puts her hand on her face and begins to pull a millet dumpling off of her face, and Luffy is astonished as she hands it to the baboon. She says, "Here, eat up."
Stephen, this was really clever in how you did this. The pling also being an onomatopoeic word.
I really like that. Yeah, millet dumpling.
And I like the way she sort of like puts her hand up, like, "Hold on," and then with her other hand, she's kind of like, "I have an opportunity."
So it's supposed to be
sure.
Is it supposed to be a dango?
Yeah, kibi dango, which is it is the item that Momotaro famously uses to tame the animals to join his army when he goes off to the island of ogres.
I
There you go.
wish I had one of those.
Do you
You
guys
guys
also know
use-
if like aunts pinching cheeks is a thing in Japanese culture too?
I don't think so. No. It's
Oh,
not quite the
wow.
same.
I'm glad that you said that because right now we have a monkey and we have a dog and we just need a pheasant.
Mm.
Well, we'll see. But
Kazan shows up again.
Oh my god.
before she can actually feed the dumpling to the baboon, he's like ah and scares her off. And before she runs away a little bit, she turns around and whips it into his mouth. He swallows it. She says, "Now shake."
Is that Luffy saying, "What are you doing there?" Like,
Yeah.
why are you
Yeah.
running away from him after you? Okay.
But Luffy is very happy. He's, whoa, you just tamed the monster. The monster is making happy faces at her with the heart emoji. And she's very excited. Yeah, it worked. I finally tamed the vicious wild mountain baboon to be on my side. Yeah. Luffy is like so cheerful. Cocks his head to the side. He says, "So you got powers, huh? That's a pretty useful one." Anyway, what I wanted to know is, are we in Wano right now? And she responds with the cutest little turn her head and says, "Yes, this is Curry in the land of Wano, big bro." And she's just like the cutest thing ever.
So
she's
we all know recently with the Dragon Ball Super movie announcement how Toriyama's like, this character of Broly, I kind of want to reimagine it in my own way. To say, hey, that annoying character Apis, I want to reimagine that character in my
Yep,
own
this
way.
is the better way to do Apis.
Yeah, I definitely thought of Apis also.
Oh, boy.
Steven, Big Bro, is that Aniki or is she saying something else?
Yeah, it is. I'm glad you brought that up. She calls him Aniki, which is kind of a bit of a rough and tumble way to say big bro, and it is also like in the way that many Japanese like sort of family terms can be used on strangers just based on who, like Oji-san, which literally means uncle, but can also just refer to any man who is like uncle age, like, oh, you're like a middle-aged guy, you're an Oji-san. That it can be used as like he's like the big bro, like the boss. And so that's specifically Aniki is what the Frankie family calls Frankie. And so I was kind of I was like, okay, well, I have some choices here. I could have her call him boss, which would probably be, maybe a more direct representation of kind of what, the type of respect that she is showing him. But then it also occurred to me that given the fact, this is just complete guesswork on my part, but I kind of wanted to leave it open as an option in case this ends up happening. But given the fact that the Straw Hats are kind of supposed to be on the DL here in Wano, that there could end up being some kind of joke about her calling him Aniki, calling him Big Bro in public, and people being like, "Oh, okay, that guy's just her brother," rather than her calling him boss or something like that. So there could be some potential room for that entering into the. So that was partly why I had her call him Big Bro. But they do look. I think if you think of them as these sort of weird kind of misfit siblings, it works pretty well visually. I think with the black hair and everything.
Oh yeah.
Brian.
So some time has passed, just slightly, but they're still on the beach and conversating Otama and Luffy. Otama goes, "I was on the way back home from running an errand in town when those bad guys and their baboon spotted me. Komochio jumped in to protect me from the baboon." Oh, and then Luffy kind of like puts two and two together, goes, "Oh, that's why they were fighting." And then the baboon and lion dog kind of go, "Woof, key," respectively. Then she continues her story. "But in the meantime, they took all my belongings away. I was so frustrated that I accidentally said something that was against the law." And do a short little flashback of her yelling the incident that they were initially accusing her of when she says, "When the Kozuki clan comes back, you'll be in trouble." It was like, ooh, big trouble. And then she goes, "If things had gotten worse, I might never see my home again. Please, Big Bro, you gotta let me make it up to you." And then Luffy's like, "Oh, awesome. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I need to ask you about." And then immediately the loudest tummy rumble happens. and she immediately jumps on top of that. She's like, "Got it. You want food, huh?" it's like this. It's like she's known Luffy her whole life. It's very interesting. There might be a reason behind her initial kind of reaction to his Luffyisms.
There's really nothing you need to know there.
Sure. But we got another quick time thing has passed, and now the Thousand Sunny has kind of been pushed into an alcove. Is that how one of those are called?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't
like
know.
a little inlet or something. I don't know.
How did they
Nautical
do this?
terms.
Who is the person who?
Luffy can move the ship on his own. I think he is that strong.
Well, I think the
No,
way they would have done it is
yeah.
like hold the mast and kind of go over to the cliffside and just kind of shove it underneath.
Grab a rock and just
Yeah,
push it.
I
Because
need
he can't
to see.
swim with it.
This is one implied filler in the anime I kind of need to see to believe here, because I don't know how
Yeah.
the hell they did this.
Yeah, because it feels like Jinbei or Frankie, they could have just carried it underwater over there, maybe even like Zoro and Sanji. But like Luffy, I think he would have had to stretch and do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could see the beach in the background there.
Just put it in reverse. You look over your shoulder.
Well, they do have that. The Thousand Sunny is one of the few ships that could go backward.
But Luffy can't manage any. He can't helm anything.
Exactly. That's my point.
No, I'm assuming he just carried it and stuck it under there from like you see
Yeah,
that
that's
little
what I
over.
thought, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
the
he just
baboon did
tosses
it.
under. Anyway,
Not a chance in hell.
anyway, and then we hear Luffy and I guess Otama talking. He's like, "The ship should be good back there. The bad guys won't find it, big bro." He's like, "Thanks. Sorry, I was sure we would had food supplies on board." She's like, "Oh, it's fine. Please let me feed you." He's like, "I've known pirates I like, and I've known pirates I don't like, so it's no big deal. I like you because you're strong and nice." And we see a shot of Otama and Luffy riding on their respective animal friends who now have proper names. Kimainu, lion dog, Kimachio, and then a new friend, Hihimaru, which is the baboon carrying an awesome looking sword. And Luffy's riding on.
He is baboon, just so that is clear. I was like, yeah, but baboon Maru or like Babu Maru sounds a little awkward, so I just kind of went with the Japanese name.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a
and it's-
Naruto character.
Right. But like since we're in Wano, like all the more Japanese traditional names makes a lot of sense.
Right,
I get
right.
that.
It's like
Luffy-
new friend.
New friend. Maybe that's a new kind of baboon we're not familiar with.
Actually,
Maybe-
technically, he did use the word nakama, so you know.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah, there you go. It's official.
No, he's Otama's Nakama.
No, he's
Yeah, that's
Luffy's.
yeah. No, I think you're right because she's the one who fed him.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we all know that means a lot more than just friend. So,
Otama no Kama.
I don't know.
Brian,
You guys are more than just Nakama.
Yeah, you're Nakamates.
You say Naka primates?
oh God. Well, there you go.
All right.
There you go.
Uh,
Manny.
So
Holy Nakamoni.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Oh man,
Hold the
what?
Nakamoni.
Oh my
Holy
God.
Nakamoni.
Nakamoni baloney.
now I know I'm eating for dinner tonight.
Baloney? Gross.
No, Nakama only. Fuck it.
Uh.
I don't care.
Brian gave up on this joke 10 minutes ago.
That's Luffy's next line.
Yeah, whatever.
Number 3.
Sure, whatever. Either way, Luffy continues. He's riding on the back of the giant baboon. He's like, "You got a village in the mountains?" And she's like, "Nah, it's gone now." Just very nonchalantly, which Luffy kind of like questions, little question mark. And then she continues, "Now I just live with Master. In the future, I'm going to be a bewitching Konichi.
Kunoichi?
Kinoichi.
Kunoichi.
Sorry. A bewitching Kunoichi." And then Luffy also 2 question marks because he doesn't remember what a female ninja's called, even though they made a big deal about it like an arc ago.
That's true.
Anyway.
I'm trying to remember the context of that now.
Well, they're on Zo, and they first meet Raizo, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that was Luffy's fantasy though. That was
No,
might have
but
been
like-
Sanji's.
No, but they were all talking about it, and Luffy was there.
Yeah, they're men. They care about ninjas.
That's
Yep.
true.
All men care about ninjas.
And giant robots.
Yep.
Yes.
Nice.
So on the next page here, we have Otama's residence. It is a cute, tiny little building that's nestled within gigantic bonsai tree roots. Has two giant cat bells, I guess.
I think those are probably like Shinto bell, because you see the paper, like the protector streamer things.
Yep,
that's probably what it is.
Yeah, there it is. And
yeah, because there's like rope going around that tree.
Oh right. God, I didn't even see the rope. Yep, that's 100%. You're right. And on the edge of the roots, you see Hihimaru and what's his face, Komachio, bonding a little bit, which is pretty cute. Luffy remarks that this place is dirty and cramped, and it stinks.
Smelly. My homeless is.
Oh, I just don't understand why we can't see Kaido now. Patience. Soon you will be with him. So Tama tells him that that's pretty rude while she's cooking the rice, and he's asking her, "Oh, is it still cooking, Tama?" And she says, "Oh, hang on, almost there." So that's a pretty interesting stove. Not really sure exactly how it works. Duh! It's an oven, right?
Yeah, well, she's blowing into the fire with the little bamboo thing.
Yes.
And it's like it's probably like a pottery ware like type of oven.
I've seen these
kiln thing.
Yeah. The stove's on top. That makes sense.
Right.
And it's covering the rice. Yep. And she offers him a somewhat beat up looking tray that has a cup for a cup of like a sake or water, a drink, rice piled high, and some pickles on the side. And she says, "There you go. Please eat up, big bro." And he says, "Ooh, hot steaming rice. Can't wait to eat it." And to the left of Luffy on this panel is something that I caught pretty much right away. It's a Tanuki tea kettle, which is I'm almost positive a direct reference to the Japanese fairy tale Bunbuku Chagama, which is the magic tea kettle. There's a couple different variations on this particular story, but the more or less the rough telling of the particular tale is a Tanuki is saved by a man, and the Tanuki is then sold to the man as a tea kettle to repay him. But when the tea kettle is set ablaze, the Tanuki runs away and becomes like a half Tanuki, half tea kettle, and then eventually comes back to the man in that state and decides, well, I have a way for you to make money. I'll do tricks on the side of the road, and then they become friends. That's the general, more or less, telling of the magic tea kettle.
And also from Naruto, the one-tailed beast was initially locked in a teapot.
Oh, is the one-tailed beast a Tanuki?
Yes.
Oh, that's cute. See, I'm not familiar with Naruto, so cool. Anyway, I thought that was a really clever nod, and I can't wait to see what other. We just saw a little bit of Momotaro, so I'm excited to see throughout the arc what other nods to Japanese folklore Oda's got up his sleeve.
Yeah, we need Joey on for like a full episode at some point just to like point out all this stuff.
Oh yeah, Joey's our resident yokai expert.
Isn't he?
So, well, sure. So Luffy's nomming down on this rice, and he remarks that she's not eating any. Don't you want some? And she says, "Nope. A kunoichi's got to be light and nimble." She says so cheerfully, and as soon as he's done, he asks for more, like he normally does after in a post-arc feast. But sorry, Luffy, this is the beginning of the arc. Not so fast. She mentions that he ate too fast, but she hasn't cooked any more rice, and that was the last of the pickles. And then Luffy, downtrodden, licking the bowl so desperately, says, "Oh, well, I was just joking about wanting seconds. I'm all full, thank you." Oh, how nice
Thanks.
he is.
Yeah, I didn't really want any more anyway.
Pero. You're a terrible liar, she says. And she says, "Oh, well, I'm just going to the restroom." And he kind of collapses and says, "Wasn't enough, but she did make it for me. That time was all right." And before he can rest anymore, a Tengu bursts into the room.
My favorite character.
Who goes there? he yells, and naturally, Luffy sees that nose and almost mistakes him for Usopp, but catches himself and says, "Wait, you're not him." And the Tengu looks down at the empty plate and says, "You dared to eat the rice?" With bloodshot eyes, and Luffy says, "Huh? Yeah, I did." And you are, as we all want to know as well.
You know, if Tama's all right, would you say that she's a good egg? Is she a good Tamago?
Oh my god, she's Tama good, or maybe she's Tama great. I don't know.
So on the next page, we see Luffy is just completely bowled out of the little residence and down the roots of the tree, either from the sword or just from the sheer force of this Tengu man saying, "You imbecile!" And we can see, as on the previous page, that he's definitely got the full. Sort of traditional Tengu outfit, which is the mask with the super long nose and the bird wings.
So the bird wings are something that's part of the Tengu legend, and that I shouldn't be reading into as some sort of Skypean thing.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a Tengu thing.
It is,
and then
but I wouldn't discount that either.
Yeah, I mean, it could be both, but yeah.
Sure. I mean, if Oda wants to draw that inference, he's definitely capable of doing it. But
Zek's tinfoil senses are going crazy.
Can you hear my tinfoil going on right now?
Yeah.
And he's got the super tall wood sandals, the Geta.
All great. He is a fantastic design, especially in this panel right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the proportions of his character really help sell it too. That he's got this very squat look, very wide, and so Luffy is kind of looking up at this guy who's staring down at him. He's like, "Wait, who are you? All I did, she made the food for me and I ate it. That's all I did." And he's like, "Why would Otama cook for you? Do you know how many days it's been since she had anything to eat?" And Luffy's like, "What?" And we see her, and she's down at the what appears to be at the water side, and she is slurping down the water and kind of willing her stomach to stop gurgling, which is it's going double time. And she says it's a warrior's shame. So we're getting a lot of callbacks to kind of Kinemon and Momotaro's style of things, of not giving in or not showing that you want to eat. And the Tengu guy kind of explains that what she does, that she weaves hats, specifically like the straw hats, not Luffy's straw hat, but the the traditional kind of sun breaking style,
like
day in and day
Oris
out.
Jr.
Yeah, the kasa is the name in Japanese, and so that's what she does all day, and it's just barely enough. She it's like hardly even enough to survive a single day if she can sell out of all that she makes. And at the best, she gets an occasional meal of crude millet, which by the way, since I kind of looked this up, since I was curious, it's two different types of millet. So the kibi dango that she was making, kibi is a type of millet. It's another grain that is kind of prized for human consumption. And then the one that he refers to here, the crude millet, is, what was the term? I think it's hiei is the name of it, so and that is like
usually, right?
Yeah, that's like barnyard stock. Yep. So like that's basically what she gets, like eating grass or something. And except for the 2 special days a year, she is able to have rice, which is her birthday and New Year's. And then he says, "I sent her to market today to buy the rice for her 8th celebration. So why have you eaten it?" And then just then Otama comes back, and she's like saying, stop it, leave him alone. Have mercy on me for cooking the rice without permission. But he saved my life. That's why. Don't shame me for doing it. So she's like, this is something I did for him. Don't embarrass me for for making that gesture, and telling him he shouldn't have accepted it. Move on.
I'm trying to see what his facial expression is. It looks somewhere between, I don't know, just shocked and angry. I guess that's just the Tengu look.
That's the mask.
Yeah.
You can see beyond the mask. There is a sweat drop, a small one.
There's a sweat drop, but the eyes aren't part of the mask, and it looks like there are some blood vessels going on there.
No, like
He's like that the whole
time.
time.
Yeah, at first I couldn't tell if the mouth was also a part of the mask, but this is the only time you see it closed, so it's clearly like Oda playing around with the logic of a mask.
Well, doesn't it just operate like a cartoon mask? As soon as you put it on, it's basically your face now, and then
I assume it's like the
Totally.
movie. The
why does
Mask.
Batman have
he's
white
wearing the
eyes?
mask.
He's
He's
wearing.
a ninja. He's a
The
ninja.
mask.
Come on.
Somebody stop him.
I
So
really
now,
hope that
Some
hope that's
stop
his
that
face.
awful
Stop
man.
him
Eat the
from
rice.
eating all the rice.
that awful man.
so now we know if the One Piece television series gets to Wano, we know who is playing this guy. Anyway, we see Tamagood just kneeling down, saying, "Look, I'll weave more hats. Please have mercy, master." And Tengu Man looks ellipsed. You know, he's pensive. And Tamago starts saying, "Oh, let me repay it to my big brother Luffy, please." And as she's saying this, big bro, not big brother, and she spits up what looks like maybe water, in a glorping noise. And the Tengu Man says, "Oh, Tama, how could you? Did you drink from the river water to calm your stomach's growling?" And Luffy here says, what's with the water?" And Luffy
I guess they didn't issue a water boil advisory warning.
Oh yes, DC has
Yeah.
the good infrastructure of DC.
Oh, you're saying Wano still doesn't have clean water?
That's right.
This is true.
this got depressing. So we see Otama passed out, it looks like, and saying she might as well be drinking poison for a young girl like her. There are safer places that she could have lived, but she chose to wait here instead for a man who promised he would come back to her. As we zoom out here, a pirate by the name of Ace. And Luffy is shock-faced here.
He's dead.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we
He's
move.
got to give her a spoiler alert first.
Yeah, have you read through Marineford yet? Have you read through Marineford yet? I want to. You know what? If you haven't, here are the books you could read through, and then we'll talk.
Golly, big bro, it's been a while since I've read One Piece. Okay.
I didn't notice the giant bamboo trees all around it before. I don't know if you mentioned
So
that
good.
already. Yeah, it's really cool now. Anyway, we move. I only mentioned that because we are moving scenes now back to the beach, where he realizes that they lost. That I'm guessing that the signal that they lost was from the beach curry. So, that's not where they are at the moment. So they're somewhere different. Saying, and this guy is asking Headliner what they should do, and he responds, "It's all but certain that a group of indeterminate number has disembarked and come ashore." I'm not sure if this is Headliner speaking or not, but we do see Headliner respond here that they should not send the message up to Kaido yet, and that he will go. And it is revealed that the person saying this is former Supernova, current worst generation member Basil Hawkins of the Animal Kingdom Pirates.
I almost thought you were going to say worst Supernova.
Hey, I mean that's why he's showing up here.
Yeah, to be fair, he is.
But I think that this is those second lines are someone asking Headliner, because Hawkins would know, wouldn't he?
Well, he says all but certain. So
Right.
he.
Probably
Yeah,
not
that's
him.
that's the
Probability.
report that's
Yeah.
going into him.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure in like a couple months we're gonna be like, Hawkins the worst Supernova. He's one of the best because we've learned all this stuff about him. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I think he definitely ranked him, and I have no ill will towards Hawkins, but I think there was an episode where we just said, like, is Hawkins the lamest? And I think we
Capone
all
used to be. And look at what has
Capone
changed here.
I'm the only one who had faith.
Yeah.
Well, I never said like Hawkins is like, oh, Hawkins will never be cool, but just like from everything we knew, I just liked Hawkins the least.
Let's go around the horn. Steven, let's start with you.
Okay. Well, I guess I should explain first about the headliner thing. So this is actually not entirely new information, although I think technically in the Viz version it is. So if you remember back in Zoe, when we were first getting our glimpses at the the various forces under Kaido's banner, when we had Jack and Sheep's Head, there was a chapter where we got a bunch of titles for them, and Jack was like I think I translated it as lead performer, which was like O Kanban in Japanese, and then headliner is Shin Uchi, and that was what Sheep's Head was described as. And I think it was like a little too much, but the gist of it is that those are terms that are kind of related to like stage performance. And so like a headliner, like, it's like, it is headliner in the same sense, but it also can refer specifically to like a Rakugo performance, like, because they'll do the same thing where it's like, oh, here's we'll start off with the apprentices who are still learning, and then you have the master who's like the guy you come to see at the end of the show as the headliner. So that's probably what Oda is going for here, that he's just kind of tying it into like the kabuki, the Rakugo style, the traditional arts. And so basically Hawkins is on the same rank as Sheep's Head was when we saw him. So I don't know what other ranks there are. We'll find out if there's more to that structure. But that's what we got to go on so far. So with that out of the way, as far as the chapter itself, like, I think it's a great looking chapter. Lots more like great art and design. There's some good action bits. I guess as far as the actual material, I don't know. I guess I would say it's okay. I think we're obviously just sort of getting the first glimpses of the actual story, and we're doing it straight through Luffy's eyes without a lot of extra kind of detail cluttering stuff up. So it's a nice kind of simple entry into this the world of this little girl. I will say, and I don't mean this to be derogatory, but you guys did already bring up that it is very much a old One Piece filler / early movie type of setup where, okay, we need to identify like who's the character who's like likable and plucky and needs help for Luffy to come in.
Child.
Exactly, a vulnerable child who's adorable. She's just as cute as a button. And she needs help, and she's part of the story. She has some relation to the Kozuki clan. This is like the quickest way to do that, and that's why you would see that in like the early One Piece movies, because you just needed that impact because you only have so much time. So I would like to think that Oda is gonna do it right, gonna show everybody how it's really done, because I think it's true that he doesn't usually do it this exact way. It's usually an older character that starts off the canon manga arcs. So I'm interested to see how that will turn out. But it did seem to be like he was just kind of rushing through, like, let's get as much of this as much of this plot info and background in there as possible in one chapter. So I'm not really sure what to feel about it specifically, but it seems like we're making quick progress into getting the story set up, which I think is probably a good thing, because it's likely that Wano is going to be very involved, and the quicker we can get it moving and the less time we kind of waste building up to stuff, I think probably the better.
Brian.
Yeah, I thought this was a fine setup. I just love the Tengu character so much. Ever since Kinemon mistakenly referred to Usopp as a Tengu, I'm like, oh, we're gonna see some crazy stuff on Wano. I love his little flower sword too. But yeah, I mean, like after last week's chapter, which was just stoked with I forget the artist's name, but that classic Japanese woodcut style with the waves and like
Hokusai.
Okusai, thank you. That this was kind of like we're getting back into like what One Piece is with the reintroduction of the Beast Pirates, and then the reveal that Hawkins is also now a member, because we kind of got the tease that Scratch and Appo is one too, or at least working with Kaido, because their little pirate alliance got decimated. So now we kind of, I mean, with the kind of like impetus that the Kazuki clan is nowhere near the power that they used to have. In fact, now they're just straight up outlaws. The dynamics of what Luffy needs to do here is starting to form. We still don't know all the ins and outs, and neither does Luffy. And like we'll discover that as he discovers it. That's part of the reason why he's separated from his crew right now. I don't really know what else to say about this chapter. Otama's adorable. I love her little patch. What's their Japanese garment for women?
Yukata?
Yeah, her little patchwork yukata, because it's like clearly she's poor, so she's got like fill in the holes where like they pop up, and the whole and like I need to rewatch a lot of my Akira Kurosawa films, because I love the idea that like she's so poor she can't eat, and she has to rely on like mullet, which is like what poor people are supposed to eat, but they give rice to the samurai in order to get incur favor for them. Which I'm like, Samurai. Yeah, Seven Samurai is one of my favorites, but it just that implication is like we're so poor that rice is the treat, which is like one of the most basic fucking foods. And then like the Tengu's face design specifically, I can't wait to see what that's going to be colored, because like in black and white it's really stark and a nice contrast, and there's even some shots where Luffy is looking up to the Tengu character, and all you see these broad wings and this like jutting like nose, but it also kind of looks like a horn from a distance. It's a it looks like a creature, and the fact that she refers to this thing as a master. And I think the other thing is that Tengu also have a relation to the ninjas or ninjutsu in a weird way. Someone can correct me on that, because all I ever know is like from Dead or Alive, the game series, the main boss was a Tengu.
I mean, I think they are often like sort of shapeshift. Like the Tengu traditionally are like sort of like mountain men. Like they just sort of hide in the mountains, and you know they'll come out and do mischief, or if you like mess with the mountains, the forest and stuff, they will they'll come down and mess with you. But there's a couple different facets to the general Tengu picture, depending on like what kind you're talking about. So it's kind of tricky to sum up.
Yeah, probably because they've been used so differently across myth and legends that you pull from whatever source you want. And I also find it interesting that Luffy essentially nearly got bested by this Tengu, even though we just saw him previously. He could basically take out two dudes on a beach with minimal effort. So it's always funny how Oda does that. It's like, if it's a good person, Luffy will just take the attack.
Yeah, I think that he he recognizes sort of like righteous anger, or that it's like same thing with Nami. Like if he's in trouble and he knows it, then he gets whacked. But if it's like a bad guy, he's not going to take it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I deserve that one.
Alex.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I love how this is our first official adventure in the land of the samurai. Like, I love that's going to be the tell of the volume. Yeah, I thought it was a very good looking chapter, content wise. Yeah, again, I think it was kind of evident when we were reading the chapter that my favorite thing about this are all the subtle and not so subtle nods to Japanese folklore. And I'm just really excited for that. I love that Kaido's flunkies are riding on this lizard thing. It's really cool. I don't know. I just can't wait to see more of Wano, and I think I mentioned this last week that if we see it through Luffy's eyes, it'll be a lot cleaner. Very interesting that Tama is waiting for Ace. I bet you she is the one that taught him how to make those hats, because he mentioned that he learned how to make those hats when he was in Wano and gave one to Horus Jr. Yeah, see, he was important.
She would have been like maybe 6 at the time of his death, so no telling when she actually met Ace.
Sure.
Oh. Yeah, and that was like the extent of what we knew about Ace being in Wano, right?
Yeah, I don't think we knew anything else. Yeah.
Okay.
It could have been like her parent who taught it to him.
Possibly, but she knew Ace either way.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's if she was too young to teach the art of hat making.
Yeah.
Or this guy, Tengu guy, even. Who knows? Oh, no, that doesn't make sense because he was saying she was waiting for Ace. Anyway, go ahead.
So Hawkins, that's kind of a no-brainer. I'm kind of excited to see him because I thought he had a really neat power. A couple things that I wanted to address to Steven, just if you wanted to elaborate a little more. I was talking to Greg about it, and he mentioned a couple really nifty things. That Otama speaks in a thick Tohoku accent.
Yeah, I'm not sure what accent it is specifically, but yeah, she does have a kind of quirky, like, and in fact, especially like based on her just her general look and like hairstyle and stuff. Like I think I probably kind of emulated that into a bit of like Sarah Silverman in was it Wreck-It Ralph? Yeah. Like she's just kind of a spunky little brat, and so
ain't nothing like
yeah, and she just says like have mercy a lot. So yeah, if you go back and look through, you can see that here and there.
And I think he also mentioned that she says Luffy's name in hiragana, which I think that's where you had her say Luffy, but like spelled it phonetically.
Right, yeah, because it's a foreign name to her, so she's like, this Luffy.
That's super funny. Man, you're going to be run through the ringer this entire arc.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have nothing else really more to say that you guys haven't already said. I'm just looking forward to more.
Steve.
This was another fun chapter. I think this was a little more vague than previous chapters. We're learning very little. It's almost in between the lines, but a lot of fun stuff. I could tell Oda and his crew were just having a blast drawing this stuff. A little more cartoony stuff, like I do like the initial brawl between the baboon and the dog, just the classic cloud of dust, and they're just wonking and bonking each other. Like I said, really my favorite panel is the explosion of the gun. But I like Otama a lot. She's very cute. You could do a little kid character so wrong in anything. Like you could turn him into Scrappy Doo. I know most of the early One Piece movies had a lot of like Scrappy Doo kids. But she has a great design.
Flim
she's
flam.
very quirky. Yeah. they're annoying, but she's really cute. She's very quirky, funny. I can't believe I compared her to Apis, but as soon as I saw her just like kind of like interacting with animals and kind of taming them, it's not quite the same as Apis' stupid.
Well, Steve, when she said I'll take you to Master, I was half expecting her to say he has the best piggies in blanket on the whole island.
You imbecile. Otama hasn't eaten piggies in the blanket in days.
Oh my god. I love the idea of an Americanized remake of this right now.
Of
Wano. Welcome to Dallas.
Where can I get donuts?
Big bro, why don't you come back to my studio apartment and I'll make you some pizza.
Ooh, pizza bagels.
Sorry, a water pipe burst and it might be contaminated, so we have to boil our water.
America.
That's what I was referring to later. That's what happened in DC the other day. I just,
Yeah, our infrastructure's crap.
it sure is.
What would the
And our
Tengu
leader is
tro-
also in league with Kaido.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Hey, yo.
Man,
Another book.
I can't wait. For a
There's
couple
just
years from now.
protests sometimes. What can I do about that?
Oh, Jesus, a couple years from now, this will date this podcast big time.
But
So,
I want
what-
I want to like buttress your point, Steve, about the difference between like Otama and Apis. Is the way why Apis doesn't work and why this character works. It isn't just the fact that she's a more appealing design, but it's also the fact that if you remember the Apis arc, and I remember how often we try to forget it, but everything came too easy for her. She had a super effective devil's fruit for communicating with dragons and animals, and just there was no effort involved in anything. But this, we see a devil's fruit that's way clever and bizarre, and it's kind of cute the way she kind of like pulls her cheeks or whatever apart, and then she can't just like, it's not just like, oh, now everyone loves me. She has to feed it to these animals, so it's like a struggle we saw in just those few panels where she nearly got like eaten by a baboon.
Yeah.
Like, and part of that, just seeing that struggle with a character who was already fairly quirky and fairly cute, and also have to like try and fail and keep trying again, and then her also sacrificing her rice to Luffy. It means something more than simply a character who's like good for the sake of good and perfect all the time, makes all the right choices. Like, that shit's boring. You got to
you
give.
make a fine crew member.
Yeah, right.
No,
Oh,
she
no.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
curious
saying like.
what. And
No,
Fine,
I was just saying that's what makes characters interesting versus characters who are not interesting, and unfortunately, in too much of filler, and not just One Piece, but filler in general, they don't do enough juxtaposition with what the character needs and what their goals are versus the challenges they have to go through to make them evolve.
Steve, well, you can't evolve in a filler arc. That's kind of the crux of the issue there. Did
Right.
you have anything else, Steve?
I just want to know what cultural American thing the Tengu guy would be instead of a Tengu.
A hillbilly, obviously.
No, he'd be like the rich or no, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say the Texan.
Yo, boogeyman.
It's a creepy
I thought
clown.
maybe
Ding, 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 ding,
Uncle
ding.
Sam, maybe.
We already got Mr. President Hamburger.
No, Sasquatch.
Oh yeah, Sasquatch.
Or the Mothman, or the Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil. It's
Oh
gotta
my
be
God, the
Devil.
Jersey Devil. I love the idea of the Tengu as the Jersey Devil.
I can't wait for the next arc for the Straw Hat Pirates to go to America Land or Bollywood.
Well,
That's what Bollywood's going to be.
Yeah.
I like
Not
it.
that Bollywood, but the One Piece one.
I still like the idea of it just being called Dallas. I'm trying to think of the most boring. Sorry, I know there's a lot of Dallas listeners. Just like the
Dallas.
most like,
A lot.
yeah,
A lot,
exactly. Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna. Steve, is there anything else?
Yeah, come on, Zach. Don't slag on our possible fans in Dallas. I know
I'm
we
not
have
slagging on it. I'm just saying, like, as a name for a mystical kingdom, I think Dallas is the most. You know,
They already got a television show. They're all right.
How about Middletown?
Middletown, Ohio.
Middletown everywhere.
Yeah, there's
Um,
Middletown, New Jersey.
But this was a fun chapter. It's great for Luffy because it's just like all the different aspects of Luffy. It's the trigger happy. I love punching things. Luffy. The hockey friends of the animals. Luffy. I really like to eat food. Luffy. It's fun. It was a really funny chapter. That's I'm sorry, I was spaced. I can't remember if you guys mentioned this at all, but I know Sam was kind of connecting the dots of this fasting that appears to be going on in the series because Kinemon and Momonosuke kind of refused to accept food back on Punk Hazard, not saying
Could it be
Green
just
Bull
like?
person. What's
Oh
his
yeah,
name?
Greenfield's not eating either.
He's not necessarily saying he's from Wano, but then again, all those guys look Japanese. So
Ryokyugyu.
Ryokyugyu.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, I love
Good
making
at
Ed squirm. There was just one thing I want to point out is that she mentions that she's in the Kazuki clan, and we know that Kinemon and Kanjuro.
Not quite.
or not. I'm sorry.
Says
That
they're
she's
in trouble. Yeah.
she has some. She idealizes them in some regard, whether or not she's
Yeah.
related to them. So she probably is connected in some way with that group. So we'll find out. I mean, it would. So those similarities aren't entirely surprising to me. Ed.
I enjoyed this chapter quite a bit. Luffy's demeanor this entire chapter is very. It feels almost a little bit off, but it's like this is just Luffy when he's at his silliest. He's got no crew members really to sort of question him, and Otama's playing along pretty much with everything. He gets to play off of animals, which is always fun. So it's, and I love Otama's power. Just the way she's got this. She's plucky. That's like she's got gumption. That's what she's got. But it's interesting that they still have the like the ninja training, but it's like she seems to be like a class of one because maybe whatever temple is still loyal to the Kozuki, so they're like out of favor right now with everyone. And I also appreciate that there's a pollution angle to this because Kaido is sort of industrializing the country. It's not really something we've seen a lot of.
It could be the a smile factory.
That right? That makes sense.
And there's a lot of I mean, I don't want to touch too much on this, although we already delved into politics a little bit. But I know when we first did Zoe with Greg, when we did the big chapter reveal about Wano and all that, he was mentioning, you might remember the open Wano's borders was the big declaration of the Kozuki guys in that. Yeah. And just the idea that Oda might be throwing in some political messages to, this almost feels like a Miyazaki kind of message that might come about here. The environmental, like, hey, maybe don't put nuclear plants on the side of cliffs overlooking the ocean where it's prone to earthquakes and tsunamis, and then brush that away. Yeah.
I mean, I would guess that he would say it's not that explicit of a message, but he has these very kind of elemental storytelling things, and if they happen to enhance or to apply to things that you see happening in real life.
I mean, as a real life political message, it's no more sophisticated than say Fern Gully, but it's there. It's definitely there. I love the action, especially that first, like the two, like with Luffy punching the guy, and then like with the whip kick, and showing the interesting perspective of through the sights of the gun. That was really interesting. The animals are very cute here, and that's about it. I think you guys have pretty much said everything else I wanted to get out here.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just touch quickly. I completely agree with Steven. I think it was like the very first thing he said. This is a really beautiful looking chapter. I think Oda is really on fire here. The action is like some of the best looking action I could recall in a while, and that says something. We just came off of the Katakuri Luffy fight, but it's just like this very subtle but like brutal little faces and reactions, and I love the hell out of it. And Luffy's little smile to the camera, "This beach is so noisy," is just such a I still squeed a little. That was a fun panel. And yeah, I did not get the peace vibe, even though I should have, from Otama, now that you kind of mention it, because it is kind of that typical filler character of the young girl, who, hi Luffy, who are you? And like,
give me more, please.
No,
please.
That character will come back another time. But there's a lot of that in movies, and Strong World had that, if I recall. Film Gold had all the little kids in that. It's like that's a kind of filler technique, I feel like, that's often used. Hey, kids, you could relate to other kids. But this one wasn't annoying because I thought Oda told a really good story in a really short amount of time. I mean, you get a lot of depth here very quickly. And I really appreciate that. I love all of the Japanese cultural and artistic and historical stuff that we're already seeing. Looking forward to that. I mean, I didn't mention this last week, but I'd still want to know what's up with Emu and the Reverie. But I guess we'll find that out in like 10 months.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah,
10 months. Ha.
Yeah, 10 years, more like it. Who knows? But I need to enjoy the adventure in Dallas / Wano. And enjoy this moment, and I am. I think this has been a lot of fun. Why don't we move on to the next segment? You guys ready?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
This is the double anime recap for episodes 844 and 845. I'm your host, Sam, and today with me once again, we have Ed.
Hey. Now, these were some, I don't know, these, a lot of times I feel like there are episodes where if we do a double anime recap, I usually end up liking one more than other.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, they were sort of, neither of them blew me away, but I didn't feel like one was massively better than the other.
Yeah, they're like, neither of them are like amazing episodes, but I am really just kind of, the vibe is right. Like, I'm really kind of going along with it.
If anything, I'd probably pick the first one because more sort of happened that wasn't just running and chasing.
Right.
But yeah, still, a lot of... I wouldn't say the art was great throughout, but they had flourishes, and I think they enhanced the things that they needed to focus on.
Yeah. The first of our two episodes is 844, The Spirit of Elbaf. Onslaught, the Flying Big Mom. Both episodes have that kind of like 3-sentence weird structure thing.
Yeah, it's Toei titles. There's not much you can do about that.
Yeah. The title card begins at 4 minutes and 34 seconds. We open with Big Mom continuing to knock down buildings in the whatever city they're in at the base of the chateau, and she's just going on her rampage and breaking shit. Mm-hmm. I love the I don't know if it's like animal sounds, like if it's specifically like a tiger growling or something, or
no, it's definitely supposed to be animal, and like it's actually kind of terrifying. Big Mom is very like they get the terror of Big Mom, I think, right in both of these episodes.
Yeah, well, like I'm trying to wonder if it's like a made up like a movie monster growls, or if they like actually if these are from if these are like stock recording from.
Kind of sounded like Jurassic Park a little bit.
Yeah. So Katakuri sees something coming, and what he sees is Big Mom chucking opera across the city, and he lands in front of everyone, and they're like, "Oh God!"
He wipes out Montour, doesn't he? Or does Montour duck?
I thought he landed like right in front of Montour's feet. I can't remember.
That's what it was. I just remember Montour almost getting taken out.
On the Straw Hat side of the field, they are running through the grass. Luffy is like, "Hey, Nami, why do you get to ride on Jinbei's shoulders?"
She was giving orders like, "Hey, you're not even running."
Yeah, and the Sanji bumps into him, and he's like, she gets to ride on Jinbei's shoulders because she's cute."
Yes,
and Nami's like, "Yes, awesome. I am."
The inset little chibi kind of head thing.
Yeah. Back in the city, Smoothie's just kind of asking a lot of questions like, "How are we going to stop Big Mom? Who can bake a wedding cake for us?"
Paris Barrett's just like, "We're screwed." Although they did like super, like not like really well, oddly detailed looking art for when Struzan's in that coma. Like, and they zoom in on his face, and it seems oddly well drawn. But
they've got those. The colors are like textured, basically.
Yeah.
Like it looks kind of hand drawn almost. But yeah, they're explaining that Struzan, the head chef, who is normally the one who'd be able to rebake this cake, he's been knocked out, and conveniently, they're able to determine that he's going to be knocked out for several days, which is more time than they have, basically. And so Parasparrow's got an idea.
I love that throughout this entire scene, I keep in mind that Parasparrow is like a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
He just makes this even funnier.
Mama, the Straw Hats, they actually, so we had this other cake made. We had a backup cake made just in case, but the Straw Hats stole it. So go after them instead of us. And Big Mom gets like right up close to his face. I love when there's occasionally during when Big Mom is going crazy, like there's moments where they kind of put a distortion effect on her voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can hear his heart beating too in that scene, and that was real. That's what I meant when I said that they sold the terror of Big Mom very well all throughout both of these episodes.
And she's like drooling and like getting real close. She's like, "If you're lying, you'll pay with your lifespan." And Mami Koyama's voice acting is still just amazing.
Mm-hmm. And the way like the power that like after she hops on Zeus and like zooms off, like you know how Goku can zoom off on the cloud, but this has
she's
so
like
much
40
more
feet tall.
Well, yeah, and also it's like, but you can feel like when it moves, it's like taking off like a rocket as opposed to taking off like a propeller plane.
Right. Yeah, I love the kind of sense the suspense where she's like right up against Perospero, and she's like you're almost wondering like is she just gonna kill him right now? Like does she not buy it? And then she's like, okay, gonna go for the cake. Boom, off.
If anything, she would rather have the cake.
Yeah, that's her best case scenario.
Yep.
And Perospero just drops to his knees like, what have I done? They don't have the cake. When she finds out that I lied, I'm dead. And Smoothie's just like, but it was a great idea. It was good going, big brother. We'll figure something out with our new time. We bought some time.
Yeah. Smoothie is very supportive.
Yeah. So they're trying to figure out how they could actually make this cake before Big Mom comes back. And they're like, well, they're like talking about like who could possibly make a cake like that, and like all the audience can think about it is Sanji. And then suddenly Pudding with a gun appears, and she's like, oh, I have an idea. Let's get Chiffon. Let's go threaten Chiffon with this gun and work together and bake a cake. I'll use my chocolate. She'll use her chiffon cake making skills. We've got extra supplies back at Cacao Island, the very first island in the arc.
All the special ingredients that they stole from other countries.
Yes, they have extras, and so they have what they need to bake this cake.
Mm-hmm. They do an interesting thing of she's like standing up on top of this building, and everyone's sort of staring up at her like.
Well, she's on Rabian, I think.
I thought she had landed on top of a building or something. Either way, but she's very just like almost like a messianic Christ figure of coming to save the day. I like that.
She's talking about, well, we have to make sure, like, if Mom goes through the trouble of killing the Straw Hats for us, we got to make sure we have a reward for her. And she's like kind of thinking to herself, like, oh, just you wait, Sanji. I'm gonna do something, Sanji.
Yeah.
So we meet King Bomb's fiance, the Lady Tree, whose name is just Lady Tree.
So much better in color. I feel like this is dragged out, and I don't mind it really.
She's just like calling him the Kinchan. Oh, you okay? And she's like tending to his sutures.
And you can see the horror on his face.
Yes. I love, like, Nami is so happy to see him. She's wiping tears from her eyes, like, King Bomb, I missed you. And King Bomb's just horrified face.
And they get on King Bomb, and she uses the fever card and makes him run again. And as you can see, as they're running away, Lady Tree just falls down in the background and can't keep up. I'd wondered what had happened to her.
And so now Oda has to explain how Nami still has the fever card because supposedly the Big Bomb Pirates took hers. And she's just like, oh, I just cut it in half. So I had a spare on my body. It does
sound exactly like something she would do.
Right. And so the Big Mom Pirates cavalry is arriving from behind, and it's a bunch of like people on carts and horses and confectionaries, and they're all running. Nami's threatening to rip the stitches off of King Bomb if he doesn't run fast enough. And even Pedro is like, that's a little harsh. And I like how we introduced this like cavalry. We introduced like this whole like army of people who are like showing up, and like you're kind of prepared for we're gonna battle with them a little bit before Big Mom shows up. But then no, Big Mom just shows up, and she's right behind them, and that's the real fight.
Although she's actually kind of behind them because, like, she's still chasing them, right?
Well, she catches up with the Straw Hats like almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like, she's right behind King Bomb. So there's a couple of sequences between these two episodes.
But there was before that the thing leading into the eye catch this week was camera into Big Mom's mouth.
Oh,
give me the wedding cake, and the camera goes into her mouth as the mid episode break. Although that was almost like 17 minutes into the episode, it came much later than usual this week.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see something like that a few times in this arc.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of scenes. This is like, I think, mostly filler for the anime of Germa fighting the Big Mom pirates back at their base.
This is the only thing that really sort of felt completely inessential. I mean, if you like Germa, it's nice, but like, who are the guys they're fighting? Who cares?
These are also by far the best animated sequences of these two episodes. Like, they look really good. The Big Mom pirates like breaking in. They're like down below where all the clones are. Some of the pirates are going to the throne room and they're like, oh, there's nobody on this throne. But then Ichiji just like zaps when they aren't looking. He's like, nope, I'm here. And then we have a scene with Katakuri arriving on the Thousand Sunny through the mirror. And so we'll see a little more about that in the next episode. And so the big finale of the episode is Big Mom chasing the Straw Hats and showing them what the Spear of Elbaf, quote unquote, can do. And I completely forgot that it was referred to as such. It was referred to as like an Elbaf attack.
Yeah, she calls it that. Yeah, and it's referenced again in the next episode.
Yes, the Ikoku Sovereignty. And it's just this big sword slice that just chops like King Bomb almost in half.
She almost misses a little bit. It only slices off like the far side of him, but like it almost starts to get into his mouth.
Yeah, it's a big enough chunk that you're just kind of like, oh shit, like
yeah.
Big Mom, she's very strong, and like her first attack did that much damage already, even though it like quote unquote missed.
You mentioned the Germa scenes. I think that the end of the next episode, I think, was also very, very well animated.
Yeah. So that's the to be continued scene of the episode. The next episode is 845, Pudding's Determination Ablaze, The Seducing Woods. The title card begins at 4 minutes and 27 seconds. So the wind is blowing from Big Mom's attack. We're still experiencing the follow through. And like Luffy's grabbing carrots, Sanji's grabbing Nami. Luffy is remembering he's making the connection with the Giant's attack from the end of Little Garden. So basically, Big Mom is doing what Dory and Brogy were doing with the giant goldfish.
They called theirs Hakoku sovereignty, I think.
Yes.
Hers is Ikoku sovereignty. I'm not sure Steven would know what that means, what the difference is, but I forget.
Probably should have looked that up. So Nami is asking King Bomb about that lady tree that they shot that they saw, and King Bomb admits that she is his fiance. And I love this little like carrot getting like all like ooh la la fiance and like embarrassing Pedro.
Like she even knows what it is.
I guess she does.
I mean, I guess people get married on Zo too. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, and Nami is giving King Bomb the pep talk, like, "Oh, if you survive this, you'll get to go see Lady Tree again. Do it for her. Do it for Lady Tree." It's like the Homer Simpson, do it for Maggie thing.
Don't forget, you're here forever.
Yeah, and then he covers. Oh yes, the Toto Land.
Yeah, it's actually. I feel like the reason
with Lady Tree pictures.
I think the reason I felt that this episode sort of dragged a little more was that it started with chasing. As opposed to sort of ending that way, but still doing a big ending set piece. I just sort of like, I was getting a little tired of chasing, like halfway through this episode, but it really picked up towards the end for me.
Yeah. So Nami is now using her quote unquote black balls. She's creating her black balls with her climb attack, the little thunder clouds, and feeding them to Zeus to like steer her away so that her next attack misses completely. And like completely trips Big Mom off of Zeus, and so
Zeus just ditches her.
Yeah, the Thousand Sunny is in sight. They can see the shore. Carrot's like hugging Nami. Everyone's thanking Nami because their plan to use King Bomb and get Big Mom off their tail completely worked for the time being. We come back to Germa action, just looking awesome. Yeah, I think Niji does I think Gohan does something like this to like Super Boo, where like zips back to like behind.
Oh, and he like does a handstand with a kick, kind of like
that too.
Vaults off his hand. Yeah,
that's like a Sanji move.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, this dude with the arrow powers, he's actually he's pretty big. I think Niji's the tallest of the Germa boys.
Yonji is.
That's right.
I think Nestor is the guy with the needles. He's the Pringles guy.
Right.
And like I like the guy who kind of looks like a long arm, but he's just really got long sleeves. But he's like so determined to wear his long sleeves that he's even like gripping his sword like through his sleeves.
That's right. Does he even have a name? I'm not sure if we've heard that.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I bet his name is in like the credits. Like I think that was something Greg mentioned where it's like, oh, because of the anime, we're going to see some characters names in like the credits.
Gotcha.
So Zeus shows up. Big Mom's like knocked on her ass, and Zeus shows up. And he's like, "Oh, hey, you got any more of those black balls? I really liked your black balls." And that gets Carrot to wonder what black balls taste like.
They're very smooth and rich tasting. They go down easy.
Luffy and Carrot are like poking at him, like they're so curious because he's just right there and he's not like threatening to attack him or anything. He's just kind of being friendly.
Oh, they do that good Sanji gag with Jinbei of like, become my servant. Oh yes, I will. And she's not talking to you.
Yeah. Zeus explains that because he was made with Big Mom's soul, she's the only person who can ride him, and that disappoints Luffy and Carrot. They're like, oh, so you're just a regular cloud then, huh?
You're so disappointed.
Yeah, and Jinbei's like, you have no loyalty to your boss? Like you're in any position to talk, Jinbei?
I do like this. He says, I've never been complimented before. Or maybe he said I've never been complimented like that before. But clearly not a lot of positive reinforcement going on Total Land.
Yeah. So that's the eye catch of the episode. They're continuing to run through the seducing woods, but Mom uses her homies to basically command the trees to block their path. And King Mom, remembering Nami's pep talk, remembering Lady Trees, like, I'm not going to die here. And he's like trying to run over all the smaller trees. And Luffy and Sanji are working to punch and kick the trees away. Pedro's cutting them with his sword. I love this little moment where
I think I know what you're about to say.
Sanji's trying to light a cigarette, and Pedro offers him the little electro.
Mm-hmm. That's very
Sanji's
convenient.
like, yeah, that's very convenient. That's such a great detail. Like that feels almost like something that Oda wanted. Maybe Oda wanted to use something like that, but never found the time.
I feel like Oda saw an electric cigarette lighter because they do make those things. Like those, that's real. You can buy, yeah. But like you saw that in a Sharper Image catalog around Sky Mall. And he's like, man, kind of want to put that in there. Or maybe one of the animators saw it and was like, I'm going to put this in. So.
We've seen Pedro use his electro to light his cigarette before.
Really? Oh,
but like this is the very beginning of Whole Cake Island, and it's in the manga. But this is like a character moment between Sanji and Pedro, which is gonna like it's gonna make a scene at the very end of the arc work a lot better, I think.
Okay.
And I think it's a nice. I think like there's a lot of opportunities to explore like smoking. And like what kind of metaphors you can draw in this particular arc where you got Big Mom the villain who's basically an addict, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is an arc of like bad habits and like not being able to quit them. So like having this kind of moment of solidarity between the two smokers is like, oh, this is gonna mean something. And like even in just a few episodes when Pedro does the thing he's going to do.
I was just thinking about Big Mom a lot lately of like. Someone who, like, she has this, like, she's big and fat and she's got this eating issue, but, like, her main issue is that she's always been the strongest person or the strongest thing in her immediate vicinity, which means that everyone has to like play around her and sort of placate her lest she destroy them. It's just people feel this way, I think, about like princes or princesses or like sons of children of privilege who have all this, sort of, I don't know, social power or political power. She has literal physical power, and it's basically turned her into an awful person. Well, because she didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a compound of a couple things, because I think there's, I know a non-insignificant number of like sober alcoholics in my life, and like the idea of like some people just have that kind of brain chemistry that just kind of needs to be addicted to something, and that kind of makes sense with Big Mom to me, where even before like things got messed up with Mother Carmel, like she was already like a sweets addict. She was already trying to destroy things just purely out of impulse.
And never even having the option or possibility of learning self-control, or at least learning to have a healthy relationship with things. And not just indulging.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing with. I mean, this is we're getting kind of a little off topic. Yeah. I love this, but like, the thing you learn about addiction is that it's not a thing that is like a matter of self-control. It's a matter of just like quitting things cold turkey or not, because you actually don't have that. Your brain will not let you control yourself that way. Is the thing that addicts will tell you.
Interesting.
It's a disease. It's not a choice.
Right.
Anyway. So this leads us to Prometheus, who's like now just a giant ball of fire. He's like, "Oh, hey, King Bomb, how's it going? You wanna leave Big Mom's territory, King Bomb?" And he's like getting slowly lowering to the ground, and like King Bomb's leaves are getting lit on fire. So we jump ship, we jump tree, and Prometheus just completely nukes King Bomb in the seducing woods.
Yeah, that's a shame. But I do like it gets orange, and then like the effect that it has on the wood is like it's actually feels painful, even if he's just a tree,
Yeah. The Charlottes, we get seen where we see that the Charlottes are starting to gather in the mirror world. We see, I think Daifuku's in there. We see a few other people other than just Brule, and they've got like this army of 10,000 soldiers ready to go, ready to teleport to wherever they need to go in order to fight the Straw Hats. There's a little scene of Montandor catching us up and explaining the territory slugs. Like, oh, even if they somehow get away from Big Mom, even if Katakuri's deal somehow doesn't stop the Straw Hats, we still have the territory slugs to alert us of the Straw Hats location. And you've got all these chess pieces kind of unloading onto the Sunny, and Katakuri is explaining like, okay, we are here just in case. Like, he clearly has a hunch that something can go wrong. So,
well, he can see the future, if not very far. He can see some of the future.
Right. And then that brings us to the final scene of the episode, where Capone he's running off. He's shooting at anyone who's chasing him, and that's when like Pudding and Rabian just like swoop in and spook him. He gets startled, like, "Oh, I didn't expect you there."
And then, wait a minute, he pulls a gun on her.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, we're enemies.
Yeah. And then she's begging, like, "No, Chiffon, let me talk to Chiffon." She doesn't seem like she's being as evil as she was last week, and she's explaining to Chiffon, like, "Hey, Big Mom's on her hunger pangs rampage. She really wants a cake. I'm good with chocolate. You're good with chiffon. You see what I'm going for here?" And Chiffon's like, "Yeah, I know what you're asking me, but like I'm trying to do what Lola did. So now I'm trying to leave." And Pudding is saying, "Yeah, I agree. I'm not doing this because I actually want to help Mom or help the family. I'm doing this because there's somebody I want to save. There's if she doesn't stop rampaging, she will kill him. She will kill Sanji." And she's like crying. She's like, she's gonna kill Sanji and his friends. And I like the big dramatic music. They really like go the extra mile to make sure that this is like a really
well, you get the
cool scene. It's a serious scene.
Yeah.
It's not just like, aha, Pudding's in love, surprise.
Right. And you get they amp up the drama because they get like they cut sideways to where like Big Mom is chasing the Straw Hats as the speech is going on, the conversation.
Yeah, the cross cut talking about Sanji to Sanji running away.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the end of the episode. General thoughts on these doubles?
I was just interesting. I have these episodes going in the background while we do this, and I just like that they have the baby crying, the Pez at the that leads into the very end of the episode. So I do like that sort of the effect of like, it's the motherhood effect on Chiffon of I guess she's trying to be like set a positive example, even if it makes things more difficult. So I feel like it's not explicitly said, but like just with the way that that Pez is there, right there with her, it kind of drove that home.
Yeah.
General
thoughts?
My thoughts are these are two good episodes. Like, there were aspects of it, like as I said, the horror of Big Mom and like the lightning attack and some of the German stuff was actually. I mean, I honestly could have done without it, even though it was nicely done. It was just sort of there. But especially the parts sort of at the beginning of that first episode we watched, but by the end of the second episode, there was a lot of good, a lot of characters making like decisions and having to act and think quickly and like making consequential decisions, as opposed to like the stuff that I don't necessarily care for, which is sort of the running and chasing, and anything with the seducing. Let's get them away from me.
Yeah. They're not like amazingly well made episodes, but there's something that's really, really clicking with me about them, and it's mostly because partly it's because I just love, even in the manga, I just love everything about the Big Mom chase and the way it's like structured and the way that it kind of keeps moving and changing locations and yada yada. And I think that actually like serves slow Shonen Jump anime pacing a lot more, is when you're just like moving, like we're moving towards something, right, as opposed to like when we were on the chateau where we were kind of we were staying put in one place without like a specific goal other than kill Big Mom. But now it's just a big chase, and that I think just it works for the drama. It works for like that kind of suspense and that sort of when that to be continued hits, you want to watch that next episode.
Right.
I think that I think I agree with you. You said something earlier where you were talking about how you liked you were saying you maybe liked the first episode a little more. And I think I mostly agree with you, but I think that the small moments that I really loved in the second episode here, I really, really loved. Like, I love the chiffon and pudding scene. I love that little moment between Sanji and Pedro.
Right.
Like that, yeah, that works incredibly well for me. And there's a lot of, and with the Germa stuff, like I am in support of the anime kind of making these flourishes, just because I'm kind of.
I mean, if they're going to do it, they should animate it like this. I mean, come on, those are some pretty cool looking fights.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's even just like a part of the reason, the fact that they had to make it up from scratch is why it looks the way it does. Because with Oda's action scenes, like they're so specifically designed for the page.
I can see that.
And so it's kind of it takes a very specific kind of artist to like really bring that to life in animation. So if they make something up that's designed for animation, that's a different story.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's interesting. I'm in a good place with these episodes.
Right. Okay. Let's move on to the next segment.
Yeah, let's go.
Toho,
major film studio in Japan.
Yaro,
guys.
We are Toho Yaro, the Toho guys.
We're a monthly movie club podcast where we watch a Japanese film and talk about it.
We discuss things like the existential dread of Akira Kurosawa's Ikiru,
and a cat portrait that barfs gallons of blood and house.
And just who is Tora-san?
Explore the world of giant monsters, historic swordsmen, and melodramatic truckers from Toho Studios and beyond with us,
Toho Yaro.
Part of the Maji Media Network, available wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Maji.
Welcome, y'all, to the Piece Together segment where we have... No, these aren't dumplings. We're not supposed to have dumplings. Okay, let's just move on to questions.
There are quesadillas.
Are you...
Whataburger.
They're Whataburgers.
Let's start with the most American of segments. Ed?
Dispies.
First one comes from Morgul, who says, why is it whenever Oda creates a child character for the manga, they're fun and charming, but whenever Toei makes a kid character for a filler arc or whatever, they just end up being pretentious and annoying? I think your question answered itself.
Well, I think
Yes.
I also just answered this question.
True. Also, no, I won't even say it.
Those children are cheeky and fun. Toei's children are sad and tragic.
It's called
I swear to God,
adversity.
just to whip the next person that brings up Toei children.
Oh boy.
Wait, maybe the Dressrosa toy children were actually Toei children, huh? Anyway, Straw Hat Pirate 9 said, the Wano arc is in full swing now. Such a good chapter. Luffy's reaction to losing the V-Ray card was hilarious. Freaking love Tama, such a nice girl. The detail on her having patchwork kimono is as sad as it is cute. Another hilarious bit was Luffy's sucky lying skills about being full. This girl gave Luffy every bit of food she had, even though she's starving. Luffy is about to destroy everything in his path to make this kid happy, and I am here for it. And she somehow knows Ace. What Wano arc, you have my complete attention. Reverie is slowly being moved to the back of my mind. Well, that makes one of us. So that's it for this piece. Do you guys have any thoughts on her opinions?
Actually, I forgot to bring this up during the manga recap, but what Viva card was it that Luffy lost?
I assume
I
it's
think it's the one
Rayleigh's.
with the crew has attachment to, right?
So is it Rayleigh's, is it Sabo's, or is it Kinemon's?
It's Kinemon's. I mean, that's the obvious assumption.
Oh,
is
I
that-
forgot Kinemon had one.
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot he had one. Crap. Well, that throws a wrench into that. Okay, next we go to emails. First one is from Martin, who says, I didn't expect Capone to be as great as he was now, so now I'm hoping Hawkins to steal the show. Out of the supernovas who will play a role in this arc, who do you expect to win you over most? Let me just think. Who are the supernovas? We have Drake, we have Hawkins, we have Kid, and we have Apu, right?
Yeah,
And Killer.
Killer.
And
Uh,
Law should show up again too.
And Law's around probably, but you know. Do you guys have thoughts as to who you think your favorite will be going out of this arc? Apu was my favorite going in, I'll say that.
Mhm.
Agreed.
I think, like I said, I think Hawkins will impress. I'm gonna go for Killer though, for kind of the dark horse.
Yeah.
I feel like he seems kind of like, he's the level-headed boyfriend to Kid. So I think we're gonna his personality is gonna flesh out a lot more. I think we're gonna like him.
So I'm probably thinking Kid, I'll be honest. Kid seems the most likely to have the most character development in this arc. I think I said this like years ago, but I think he's getting set up to have a Law level type of importance to One Piece.
You want to recreate that scene from Sabati with him, Law, and Luffy all standing together like that?
That could happen.
'Cause-
Yeah.
I mean, he's been betrayed by he's on the wrong side of Kaido now, so he's got to do something.
Yeah.
He was also in the worst position when we saw him last. So
Yeah.
his quote unquote redemption might be kind of interesting to follow.
I also hope Unrouge shows up, because last time we saw him was at the cloud that Kaido tried to
crap.
commit
Yeah, there's a
suicide
lot
on.
that could be here.
If Unrouge shows up in this and Gang happens to come around again, we'll get all the outside Jory Bonnie. Damn it! I was gonna say we're gonna have all the supernovas here, but she's hanging out the Reverie.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing Capone anytime soon again.
Yeah,
To be frank.
Bonnie Super Newson phone.
Bon Junior.
The kids could call you Bonju.
That's a good one, Zach. If Bon Junior want to go to the Reverie with Shane Hosana-san, that's okay with me.
Wow, that took me a second.
King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Now on Comedy Central.
Oh yeah, move.
Is it?
Yeah,
Well,
itself,
it will be
Cartoon
soon.
Network.
Oh, sweet.
Adult Swim, sorry. We're gonna move on to Reddit. Steven, take it away.
Okay, we'll start with Super Trooper 92, who has been listening to the new, or well, not the new, but the old read through episodes and marking down some comments. So let's see if we remember any of these things that is being asked about. Okay, I think that Django is designed after Michael Jackson because Oda probably thought of MJ as the coolest cat in the 80s and 90s, making him a perfect fit for Kuro's cat-themed crew. I like that, although the cat is that's an American thing.
Although he did draw those cats in that color spread like Michael Jackson in Smooth Criminal.
And we all know the coolest cat is actually Cool Cat.
Hey, TC.
You know.
I mean, that's
that's Top Cat.
Yeah. Got my cartoon cats.
And,
you sure it's not Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats?
Or maybe you're thinking about MC Scat Cat.
Oh yeah.
No, there's that really bad animated Cool Cat, and then there's that really bad Cool Cat furry costume character thing. And oh god, I've just name dropped Cool Cat on this podcast
now.
Hey, let's talk about more cats that aren't One Piece related.
All right, Steve brought up a character silhouette that he thought represented Higuma the bear returning to seek vengeance. Who was the silhouette actually of? Yeah, Steve, who were you thinking of 3 years ago?
I think I know.
Don't break the fourth wall, Stephen. Here, we just recorded that 2 weeks ago.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Stephen. I mean, Steve.
I don't think they use the term silhouette. I think what they're referring to is I saw kind of like a Toei produced image for the anime of like the Alabasta crew, and there was a villain in the background, and it's Crocodile. But at the time, One Piece was like just starting, like Shonen Jump was just becoming a thing in the US. So, like I thought the character looked similar to Higuma the bear, so I thought like, oh, does he come back and he's like a big time villain? Like, I almost got eaten by the sea monster. I'll get you, Luffy. But now we all know that Oda isn't a hack. So
wait, I just figured out who the last villain of One Piece is.
Damn it!
It's me, Luffy. Oh, son of a bitch! It was me all along, Luffy. No, that's Bleach. That's Bleach. Bleach.
It was all planned by me, Higuma the bear.
Every single thing was planned by me.
Okay, what's next?
Zach mentioned being hooked into the anime when Ed showed him a certain scene, but didn't say which due to spoilers. What scene or event got Zach addicted?
I'm wondering if I remember it, but I just want to see if Ed also remembers it.
It's new, Zach.
What?
We recorded it like a week ago.
No, so the scene was in the anime, the Crocodile versus Luffy, the very final scene of that fight.
Oh yes, you would love that music.
Yeah, you can't. That's Ed knows how to get me into something. So I remember I was just in his room. He's like, Zach, I know, it's hard to get you into stuff. Just watch this one scene. And
granted, this is like probably 6 months after I had marathoned all of it.
Yeah, so I did watch it right after that. So this was probably 06, 07?
It's early 07, I think, yeah.
I think it was definitely winter, so it was either late 06 or early 07. Yeah, that answers that question.
Okay. And lastly, Steve asked if Nami's name had any significance, like how Usopp is a combo of Lai and Aesop. No one asked the next week during Nami's flashback, so I am bringing it back. Well, it's not spelled with kanji or anything, so you don't know for sure, but it is a homophone for the word for waves, which, given that she's kind of a navigator and is always, watching the conditions and stuff, that might be part of it. And it's just kind of I wouldn't say it's like a super typical Japanese women's name, but it's a very kind of familiar sounding one. So
I've definitely heard it before.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
I like the read through questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't grill us too specifically on
no,
things,
please
even if we recorded it last week.
Yeah.
Larry 23 has a hey guys, Steven. Hey guys and Steven, the most intelligent of all dinosaurs. Well, that's not I mean, I'm smarter than a Velociraptor. That's the biggest competition you have. I love this chapter. And one thing that stood out was Luffy dealing with these sniper dudes. To me, it seemed an intentional mirror of the sniper people with Flampe during the Katakuri fight. Is Oda signaling that Luffy does have some form of future sight now? I think you said that, Brian, right?
I mentioned that because like with the whole Flampe thing, we also got to see through the scope, which is reminiscent of that. That's why it seems familiar. Yeah. I also want to point out how similar this reminds me of a sequence in the original Dragon Ball during the arc where Luffy fights General Blue. There's like an island where
Goku.
I know they're easy to mix up. They have the same face.
Oh my god, that weird looking Goku's now in my head. He's incepting himself.
Hey, Brian.
Memories.
No,
you remember me, Luffy. I fought the Red Ribbon Army.
Get out of my head.
Covered in scorpions.
Behold the ravages of age.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's going on?
So many tangents.
But no, it reminded me of in Dragon Ball when Goku's going to fight General Blue, and there's that one sequence where like he fights the Red Ribbon Army on that island, and he takes him out Goku takes him out really quickly with his staff. Luffy reminded me of that in this chapter, so that's it.
Yeah, I didn't take it as like a direct reference. I think it's just sort of like, well, if you want to call it hockey or just intuition or something, it's like you kind of expect Luffy to be aware of people attacking him at this point. Our next question is from ATM99, who says, for Wano, you guys have talked about Oda and his assistants using a unique art style. Does that apply to Luffy as well? He's looked a little different in the past 2 chapters, but I can't quite put my finger on what.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to bring this up a little bit, but I wasn't sure. Everything looks a little messy, just a little bit, or a little darker. I can't tell. Like maybe Oda's using a different pen or something, or I don't know. Steve, have you noticed this?
What is that again?
I don't know. The art has for like Luffy even has just looked a little different.
Yeah.
Right? Like I feel like the baboon anyway, and the Koma Inu, they kind of looked a little less refined, more sketchy.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail on them though.
Yeah.
I feel like that's. Yeah.
It's not the problem we had in Dressrosa at all.
No,
it looks clean. No. I mean, to me, I'm not an artist.
I do think that he's drawn a couple kind of weird expressions on Luffy's face. Maybe that's it. That's the thing that sticks out to me. But
he looks too much like Goku.
I think if anything, it just might be the nature of this, where we are in this arc, where he's figuring it out for the first time, and he's drawing it for the first time, so it's not there yet. It's like the first time he drew Usopp.
Well, I'm also
Chopper.
I'm also thinking that it's a result of the fact that the environment of Wano looks so completely different from what we're normally seeing in One Piece that that's the reason that it looks.
Well, an interesting thing with that is that as an artist, like when because part of my job, I have to move from style to style to style per production. So for example, when I work on Rick and Morty and I go back to Teen Titans, I have to kind of like unlearn the stuff I was doing for Rick and Morty to get back on my Titans flow. So if he is like radically changing how he does like backgrounds for Wano, that is going to reflect how he's drawing the characters now, because like your literal wrist and your muscle memory changes in order to achieve a certain specific style. So that could be what you guys are noticing, and I totally understand what you mean.
Yeah, I mean the other thing too, I would say this doesn't have to do as much with like facial expressions, but Luffy is currently, like, at least compared to the Straw Hat team, the advanced team that is already there, is they're all decked out in their local duds, and Luffy is still Luffy. And if infiltration is going to play a large part in this, and I'm sure just Oda himself wants to draw them all in in kimonos and stuff. So maybe once everyone is all dressed up like that, including Luffy, then it'll meld together better in your mind. So we'll see. Grizzly AR says, how is it that the news segment is not called Big News yet? Zach.
That's an oversight.
good,
That's an oversight. Yeah.
That's really good.
Maybe
Someone
at some
got
point.
fired for that blunder.
Yeah, maybe at some point we'll rebrand it. That's not a bad idea.
That's just how you have to pivot every time you start to say, when you transition into news, you just have to go big news.
No, you see, I gotta wait until Casey comes back more regularly and just have him introduce the segment every week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Big News Morgans and Cecil Brown were the same character.
No, he does big news too. You don't remember?
It's like, yeah.
I don't, so it's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
you
does
were-
an awesome big news.
I think you were gone for that. That was, I think, during your absence time, right? Or no? Maybe I'm wrong.
It'd be funny if he did a Caesar Clown and be like, "No, we don't want your garbage news."
All right. Let's see. Okay, ATLA for life. I don't recall. This is all a blur to me. With it clearly now into Wano, do you think it's time for Wano chapter predictions? Did we do Wano predictions last week?
No.
No, we did. You guys did Orlumbus.
Oh, that's right. We did.
Which, to be
That's
fair,
why
was more
I'm so
important.
confused.
I think we're gonna. I think we should still wait a week or two before.
Okay.
we
Yeah,
start.
I will veto that idea entirely.
Okay. Give it a few weeks to feel like we know the pace of how quickly we're moving through this.
Yeah, because at this point, it's just such a wild guess. We usually wait until we're like in an arc. Reverie was a little bit of a weird situation, but we usually wait until we kind of know what's kind of the general story before we do that.
All right. Grand Reboot wishes congratulations to Zach and this is his first time commenting. I wish I was in America to buy those color walks, but anyway, here is a theory all the way from South Africa. The pirates from the Rocks event were said to have lost their captain 40 years ago. I think that this pirate was not killed, but rather captured alive and sent to Impel Down 40 years ago and had his history erased, like how the 5 elders mentioned, since very people know about this incident. The crew was powerful enough that it threatened not only the world government, but all other pirates in the Grand Line. I don't believe Kaido and Big Mom was part of this crew, but rather formed an alliance to fight it. Whitebeard and Buckin recently confirmed were in the same crew and probably were a part of this legendary pirates, and maybe Shaki and Oden as well, though details of the event are still hazy. I think Garp's fame came from capturing this pirate crew's captain and probably some crewmates somehow, and he was not heard of until now. As to how he escaped, we know that after Blackbeard invaded Impel Down, a lot of level 6 prisoners escaped the prison, and he could have been one of them. This could also be the reason Blackbeard invaded in the first place. His current members may have been part of this crew. As to why he has not been seen around the news, he may be in Wano, where Kaido happened to be. What do you think? Sorry this is long, but I hope you enjoyed it. That certainly ties together a whole bunch of stuff that we don't know full connections to. So I would say bravo on managing to tie that all together. I would bet that a lot of it is probably in the right direction, if not all of it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super curious about that generation generally, because we don't know much about that. Like, I know there's a Void Century,
Roger stuff,
but for us, we have many Void Centuries, and the pre-Roger stuff. Other than Noland, we don't really have a lot of those gaps filled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amiibo Hunter says, this is for Steven, but if anyone else has any insight, I would love to hear it. What would be the best way to learn Japanese? It's been a little while since we got this. I've been really interested in trying to learn to read, write, and speak Japanese with a possible future in translation. How did you learn the language? Do you have any programs or websites you recommend? I know it's going to be hard, but I got to follow my dreams like these Straw Hats do. Thanks a ton. I love the podcast.
I want your job. But yeah.
I guess it depends. Assuming, I mean, I would hope for your sake that you are still a student, either in high school or college. That's the best way to learn. Like the most structured way is to just take a class, because not only will you have the resources and a teacher to help guide you, but it's also it's a structure. It's a thing that you're going to be doing for a semester or for a whole year, that will continually, teach you stuff. Whereas I think the danger, if you're just trying it on your own independently, is that if you don't have that structure that is kind of doling it out to you or forcing you to do it, you can't just say like, oh, I don't feel like it this week, or I don't feel like it today, to learn, and then you let it sit, and then it's been a whole week, and you're like, oh, I haven't been checking it. Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's so easy for like hobby things like that to fall by the wayside, because it turns out it's not really as engaging as you thought, or it's tougher than you thought, or something else in your life comes up. So having that structure, I think, is really the most important thing. Like for me, I started off with high school classes. I took some college classes, and by the time I was getting into college, I was already buying manga in Japanese and kind of using a lot of dictionary and struggling a lot. But that was something that because I wanted to understand the manga that I was reading, and of course that was almost 20 years ago. So that was a long time ago in terms of availability of these things in English. So it's like if I wanted to understand what Detective Conan was about, I had to. That was the only way that I could find out, was to to work through it with a dictionary, and there were no like shortcuts to figuring out what that stuff was. And so that was like the hook that kept me going, and it was enough of a positive feedback loop to keep me interested and to keep me trying to learn new stuff, and that's how you kind of make actual progress with your knowledge of the language. I'm sorry, I can't really give you any more concrete stuff like buy this book or buy that book or do this program or that program, because I can only speak to what I've done myself. But that to me is the best thing, is to structure it. If you're really serious, is you need to structure it in a way that is going to ensure that you stay engaged with it, because that's the first thing that's going to knock you out of continuing on.
I'll get started right away.
Yeah, there you go, Zach.
Shit, I'm like 20 years too late.
Niver says, if each of these Straw Hats had their boss over for lunch and they made a roast and it got ruined, how would they handle it?
Oh my god.
Wait, which characters?
Any of your
the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats unforgettable luncheons.
Luffy would serve it as is.
Yeah, he's already done that, literally.
He'd say, well, whatever, and then he'd walk away.
Yep. Chopper would cover it in candy and then serve it.
Zoro would he would climb out the window to go across the street to the Krusty Burger and somehow still get lost.
Yeah.
Or Nami would find some way to make their guest pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd somehow trick them into eating it. No, she'd make Sanji make another one, and then she would pay them for it afterwards.
Sanji just wouldn't have happened. Sanji would just be in his kitchen going, everything's going according to plan.
Or even if he did mess it up, he'd somehow be able to make it taste amazing. With a little, what's the Futurama? LSD, a little attitude.
See, that's a Simpsons reference too.
Frankie, the kitchen would just explode like on Baltigo.
Oh my god, yeah, and he'd come out without
Frankie
a face.
Would walk out with his face melted off.
Oh, I thought I'm just thinking now of like I'm like steamed hams, but it's Baltigo, and after it explodes, you see Skinner giving the thumbs up in the sky. He is Aurora Borealis.
Oh wow,
that's amazing. Oh
wow,
that's a crossover waiting to happen. Well, the piece together we've had like I think a gem every week recently. Okay, what's next?
Let's see. Next, we have Black Northwind, who says, with this, we meet Otama. My question is, after the Wano arc is done, will Luffy take Tama to Ace's grave so that she could say her goodbye to him? Wow. Well, we're jumping over a lot there.
Oh, wait. Do you think that's why we saw where Marco was beforehand? Like, maybe Marco will take her there if he ends up or not Marco, Cat Viper, because he knows where that is now.
That's an interesting point. I mean, a lot of that hinges on who's left in control of Wano at the end of the arc. Like, that's like the main question, and can't really answer that unless you know that.
True.
Mm.
Yeah. What's next?
Mysterious. Gunther C. Perk says, congratulations and welcome back, Zach. Number 2, the river is polluted because of the waste being secreted by Kaido's factory. That's why Otama is sick. What if the animals are also drinking from the river and that's why they look different than normal?
Oh my god.
I mean, are you saying that Hokusai was drawing his wood block things like that because he was drinking poisoned water?
I think they're saying more of like a Simpsons thing where everything has 3 eyes because of the radioactive plant. Except here they turn into Japanese yokai.
I am the lizard queen.
Budinki.
Let's see. Lame for Fame just took a year-long One Piece break. I just caught up again and went back to listen to the podcast episodes I missed. Your titles are great as always, and it was very interesting to hear you speculate about questions I already knew the answers to. I don't usually listen to old episodes, so this was a new experience. As for my question, I started noticing a lot of heart emojis in speech bubbles, e.g. chapter, this chapter maybe, is that a recent thing, or did I just never notice before? I guess, I mean, I would say it's probably, Oda has probably been doing that more often than like in the first half of One Piece, but I wouldn't say that that's like a very, last year he started doing a bunch more hearts in his, text dialogue. I think it's kind of always been there in some way. But, I don't know. I guess I would be the one to know because I have to insert them into the script all the time. But I feel like I've been doing that for a while now, so I don't think it's necessarily a new thing. Raider Not a Fox says, since Wano is obviously based on feudal Japan, does it mean that it has a rice-based tax system like its real-life counterpart?
So have we determined if it's feudal Japan, Edo-era Japan? Like, is there do we for sure, or maybe it's a little of everything? I guess it doesn't matter.
I would say based on what we saw of the city, it's closer to Edo era than pre-warring states.
Well, maybe
era.
maybe the urban center is a little bit more advanced and they have
That's always how it is. I mean, like, look at certain parts of this country in the current day.
Wow. Okay.
Sure.
We do have people who listen who don't live in urban
That's
centers.
why I wasn't specific.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess that could be a part of it. Yeah. Since we were talking a lot about crops in this chapter, so I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, and if you want Ed's address to send him your hate mail,
Hey.
Go ahead.
Okay, just a few more here. Garoovs just has a comment. As one of the few unironic fans of Basil Hawkins, I feel like it will soon be time for me to rejoice.
I think he's right.
Probably. Prince of Assassins says, now that we are in Wano, I wanted to ask a timeline question. We were told by Brook that Wano was an independent nation, so strong that even the world government didn't dare mess with them. We also know that it's likely Whitebeard and Roger had a talk in Wano shortly before his death, and now Ace is confirmed as having gone there probably less than 4 or so years ago. Do we know for certain when Kaido took over? I always assumed it was during the time skip, but I've seen a lot of people hypothesize Ace's promise was that he would help free Wano from Kaido and the Shogun. Is there something I missed with the timeline? And if not, what are guesses as to when Wano got taken over?
Wow, there's a lot there. I mean, first off, I think Kaido seems pretty established. I mean, I don't know how long. I think it was probably before the time skip, if I had to guess. Just to address the Ancient Kingdom thing, what's the name of the Ancient Kingdom? I don't think that was in this question, right? There was a few things.
No.
Oh, no?
I think you just imagined that.
Well, never mind then. Wasn't there something about the world government having a thing?
Yes, that Brooke said that Wano has been an independent nation strong enough that even the world government doesn't mess with them. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're very similar to at the start of Dressrosa, where it was like, okay, Doflamingo is the king of this place, but how long has that been going on? And how does this all fit together? And then pretty quickly we got, how it all fit together and when King Riku got overthrown, etc. So I feel like we'll probably get that put into perspective pretty shortly. But I would guess, I mean, my hunch is that it's probably within the last few years, but not super recently. That's my guess. Like not since the time skip. Because it just feels, maybe it's just because it's been so much time in real life since we first met Kinemon, but it just kind of feels like it's been a situation that has been around for a while.
But realistically, how much time has passed in universe since they left Sabaudi to go to Fishman Island? Like, how much time? You wonder, don't you? You wonder.
That's true. Yeah. Perfect Relative says, I have a bit of a worrying feeling that Oda is rushing this arc a bit already. We hear a lot about the troubles to get to Wano, but in the same chapter, they're already there, which makes it seem like it wasn't a big deal at all. Then we learn Luffy loses a Viver card, so we might get some cool exploration, but instead of that, he is immediately met with Otama running into him and kickstarting that plot. Then later, Old Man Exposition gives a screaming match of text to Luffy encapsulating this girl's entire life story. I'm just a bit worried Oda is going to rush the world building to get to the fireworks factory. Anyone else feel the same?
Okay, guys, we're at chapter 911. I don't think anything's going to be... I think of one thing we don't have to worry about Oda doing, it's rushing. Right? Is that just me? Like, I mean...
I agree with you.
Yeah, I understand the concerns here. I don't want to make them seem like they're absurd.
Maybe they just weren't a fan of how Big Mom devoured the cake.
I mean,
that was rushed.
I mean, pacing issues, yes, of course I have concern with that. Like, Fishman Island, if you think about it, kind of rushed the beginning and then had issues in the middle and meandered a lot and then rushed the end.
Fishman, I'd say timing purposes, Fishman Island's one of his weakest arcs.
Yeah, I mean, the main problem with Fishman Island is the pacing and, like, kind of how it's structured. It has, like, some really good bones to it, and he just kind of messes a lot of those up.
And there's still some meat on that bone.
There's
still
some
pot.
meat. Yeah.
Got yourself some stew.
Maybe some Odin.
No, you got yourself a stew going, Steve.
God, like, just let me have that.
So I would also say too, as far as like the getting into Wano thing. I mean, I don't have a problem with the way that he did that because there's clearly like two purposes. One is for story purposes. Like it shows, okay, there's crazy stuff around Wano. This is why, the world government can't just immediately sail up and have everything work. And two, like Oda just, he wants to draw a bunch of like woodblock style illustrations that look beautiful and look really awesome and, kind of set the stage for like, this is what to expect. Like, this is how whole hog are going on this Japan, Edo era type thing, just to kind of get you psyched up and set the stage. And I don't think it had to be any more meaningful than that. And also just to have, Luffy get separated from the crew. So, he serves a bunch of different purposes by doing it that way. And lastly, on Reddit, we have Alpha Check, who says, I just came here to say, does anyone else think that the octopus is one of Kaido's disasters? If Luffy, the same man who defeated Katakuri and became an Emperor of the Sea, cannot escape from what looks like a mere octopus, then clearly we must upscale how powerful this octopus really is. But regardless of the octopus's power levels and who he could beat with mild difficulty, what do you think was the reason he held Luffy? Some people have thought that this octopus maybe has been sent to help the Straw Hats get to Wano by Kinemon's allies, and the Whirlpool is the key to getting there. Do you think he is a secret agent octopus?
Wow.
Kind of hope so.
I think he was just scared.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah.
He was crying.
Yeah. But on the other hand, like it always kind of sets off like your spider senses when it's like, okay, here's this animal that cannot talk, but is clearly acting with a lot of intent and like trying to do certain things, but like the crew clearly has no idea what the heck this octopus is doing.
It's wearing clothes. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and like doing the kabuki yelling and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I think there could be something there. It may just be nothing.
What was it doing out there in the first place,
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we do get more, like a bit of a Momu style reveal where it's like, oh, there's a little bit more to this creature, or Tsurume, there's a bit more to this creature than we immediately thought at first. We just don't find out for a while.
All right, that's it for Reddit?
Yeah, that's it for Reddit.
Ed, what do we have? Oh, well, what is the next segment?
It's time to piece the tweet.
What's going on Twitter?
First question comes from Sniper of My Heart, who says, "What chapter do you think Jimbei will come back?"
You have to read his the title of his Twitter handle, which is "Give Us the Fish Uncle."
Yes, give us the fish uncle asks this.
Yeah, Jinbei's coming back at some point.
And probably in this arc too.
That does not address your the question at all, Brian. Eventually.
1,000.
Yeah, eventually.
Chapter 1000 is as good a guess as any, although that's probably far too far in the future for this person.
Yeah, it's probably.
I still want Gang to come back.
Yeah. All right, next one comes from Nura G123, who says, "If the podcast crew were a real pirate crew in the One Piece world, what would everyone's role be and bounty, and how far do you think you guys would make it in the Grand Line before dying?"
I mean, didn't we determine mine already?
Roast beef.
Yeah.
Roast beef, Zach.
100 berries.
50. Come on, get it
50
right.
berries.
Yeah.
It was 5, guys. It was 5 berries.
5 guys?
It was 5.
Now I'm hungry.
We're the Five Guys Pirates.
Wait. Why don't we rework this question? What type of food would we each have as a pseudonym? As a what do you call it?
Wait, what's my pirate name?
So
I
like,
liked it.
yeah, okay, whatever.
Well, I would like to think that if I was in the One Piece world, I'd be a lot more physically fit.
You'd be Steve Jerko Chicken.
What would his bounty be? Okay.
Good one. I just want to comment on what Alex said. Alex, doesn't matter what kind of body type you have, you will have a 6-pack in the One Piece world. So
Yay! I win.
Okay.
We didn't really
that's-
fully answer this question, though.
No,
that wasn't answering the
What was
original
the question?
question. That was
I don't know.
answer.
Well, Zach would be a
Alex's
captain,
concern.
obviously.
I'd be your roast beef captain.
Who actually knows how to sail among us?
I know how to
Wait,
say.
did you say you're the host beef?
Oh.
Host beef Zach.
Oh,
No, I do know how to sail. But
let's just move on from that one.
Killed it.
Okay. Next one
We'd all
comes.
die.
We would die immediately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be fair. Yes, we'd
Like,
all
people
go
in
to
One Piece fight all the time. Like, there's so much fighting.
we'd all go to Toys R Us instead of doing what we should be doing and get lost.
Zach, going to Toys R Us was priority before going to your wedding.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
don't
it
get why you
was.
fail to not comprehend that.
And
You're
then
just
you go.
lucky we didn't go see Incredibles.
Yeah.
To be fair, we didn't buy lightsabers at Toys R Us, which is probably a bad move.
Well, I know at least Jose got the Banana figures. I know he works on it.
I got the banana.
Oh.
He wasn't going to buy them. I
What?
was buying them, and I told him buy them.
For
And
shame,
then he was just
Jose.
going to buy banana. And I'm like, you're going to buy banana, but not the entire banana family?
You heard it here first, everybody. Steve gave Jose the idea to buy Banana action figures.
I'm
Breaking
pushing it,
news.
that's what I do. Yeah, we'd be a terrible pirate crew. Do you see what it's like when you put me and Alex in a room?
Oh my god.
It's
You'd
like,
sink immediately.
yeah,
Somehow you would take on water and sink immediately.
but we'd sing a lot of shanty tunes.
Oh, yeah, we would.
But
We
most of
would.
them would
That's what-
already be copywritten, so
Oh, shit. He's right.
you wouldn't
That's
be
why
able
you're
to hire
pirates.
that. Yeah.
That's why you're pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next? That's true. That's true.
Next one. Okay, the next question comes from Boo Ridley, who says, "Just a comment. The last line of Luffy's story this chapter was a real gut punch. I haven't said oof out loud while reading in a long time, but yikes." So, I guess he's excited for Ace. Next one comes from R.L. Smith, who says, "This has probably been pointed out, but I don't think it's just his Viper card that's missing. I think it's a totally different hat."
What?
And I don't really see what the evidence is for that, but we'll keep an eye on it.
There's so many straw hats out there now. It could be any of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow, this one feels bigger than usual, and also colder.
It's cold.
Oh, man. You know what I'm fucking calling? At the end of the arc, like when it's all said and done, Tom is going to be fucking making Luffy straw hats.
Yeah, there you go.
Hero hats, baby.
What's
Yeah.
next?
Next one comes from RS Dream 12, and we really should have Joey on for this, but it says, since we've already seen a Tengu, what other yokai do you expect Luffy and the other Straw Hats to come across? I'm hoping for a scene where Sanji comes across a Rokurokubi, long-necked woman.
Are you telling me we're going to be on Yokai Watch?
Or Gegege no Kitaro.
How about the exhaustion from Zach says it all?
Gegege no podcast. Now, there's a spin-off idea.
Yeah.
Next one comes from Yuntab F, who says, why didn't Otama just make the animals go gather food from the forest for her? They obviously know how, and they seem to be completely under her control. Okay, well, she's 8, and she didn't think of it, okay?
And why are we assuming that there's food in the forest?
That's true. Maybe it's all poison.
Yeah.
Next one comes from Cracker Jakku, who says, who will Big Mom bring to Wano? Will she bring an army and some of her kids, or will she show up alone with just her main homies?
Will she be the one to go, even?
I think the latter, because Kaido's forces are already too large for the Straw Hat Alliance to handle. So I guess Big Mom...
Big Mom's the big wild card in this arc.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool that it's just that's kind of a thing that's just on like the outskirts of what could happen here. It's like, oh shit, and she could also show up.
Yeah, I think we were all speculating a long time ago that Big Mom might chase them to Wano before the whole cake thing was introduced.
And I was like, that's way too unrealistic. That'll never happen. We need to focus on Kaido. And now she's like, I'm coming for you.
now it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think Kaido's going to be happy to see Big Mom either. So there could be a very interesting dynamic there.
And I just want to say thanks to the Dr. Monkey and Mr. Rogers with a Z on Twitter. They asked about Ace, and I think we've already addressed most of the Ace Wano questions during the manga recap. But moving on to Never Knows Best, who says, do you think that Susie has any connections to the Pleasure District in Wano, or are these two realms just separate?
I would guess not.
I don't think Susie knows anything about it. I don't know how undercover she was, but it doesn't seem like she stayed undercover very long.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like, is that like her? Does she just moonlight as a madam, or was that like literally just as the same as CP9 at Water 7? Because she was not around that long before she went back. So
you know what really confuses me is why CP0 wears like the masks and stuff like that, but the entire reason that they wore masks and stuff during Water 7 is because of the whole like festival angle, right?
Yeah, but now they're just
I guess they developed the taste
really
for
liked
face wear.
Yeah.
All right, next one comes from Dark Leviathan. This is really the last. I know there's two more. First one comes from 91 Ryan. Sends, meant to ask this last week. Who do you think splits up more, the Straw Hats or the Scooby-Doo crew?
Ouch.
Also, how many episodes will we have Big Mom just saying wedding cake in the anime? Well, we had two this week. So
a fucking lot, man. Like if you're following the manga, then you're gonna fucking know. Yeah, it's a lot. I think the Straw Hat crew doesn't split up nearly as much as the Scooby Gang because the Scooby Gang never sticks around together. Ever.
It's true. All right, next one comes from Dark Leviathan. This is the last couple of questions. The first one is just for me. It says, Wano has no giant curtains at the edge of the country, like I was talking about. It was a camera shot from within the room where Robin was practicing. So
was it was in confusion?
No, it was.
I was being sarcastic, I think.
Wasn't it in the room? Oh, was the Shamisen player also with Robin? I can't recall that.
I think there was one. Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same Shamisen player though.
Yeah.
I think it was wherever the Shamisen player was. Is obviously
we didn't see a lady wearing the fox mask.
Yeah, I think it was
in Robin's scene.
Oh, by the way, I do love the babang, that sound effect. It has been still there throughout.
Yeah,
mention that's cool
here and there. Yeah,
it's on the first page this week too. And finally, Dark Leviathan had a question. I almost forgot this one that I couldn't ask last week. What would be the Straw Hat's favorite board games? Hard mode name can't... Nami can't play Monopoly because it destroys friendships and that's what holds the crew together. Chopper loves
Board
Candyland.
games.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah, Operation would be like, come on, man, I'm off duty.
Why do I think Shoots and Ladders is something that Usopp would play? I don't know.
Now, Usopp would, man, I think one of those games.
Mousetrap. He'd play Mousetrap.
I think no, it's not necessarily.
Crossfire.
Like there's that card game. I think it's a Werewolf. I think.
Yeah, it's Werewolf.
I feel like Usopp would be great at that game because he's a fantastic liar.
Werewolf is an awesome card game for lying.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it because I don't know how to lie, and understanding all the rules of that game is complicated.
I want to see them all play Pandemic and see them fuck it up.
Zoro probably plays Go, even though he's terrible at it and he lost to that dog.
In opening 12. All right, I think that's gonna do it for. We could do more of these another time. So let's round off the show. You guys ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 528 for July 16th, 2018. Great show today, you guys. We'll be back, of course, next week with the manga recap for chapter 912. I know not Golden Week, Oden, not... I'm mixing up. Obon. I was there for it, and I can't remember the name of the holiday. It's coming up in a couple weeks, right, Steven? Is that...
Yes, that's always, late August, I think? Or mid-August, something like that.
Oh, it's that late? Okay, I thought it was coming up sooner. Okay, so, yeah, we'll let you know when that comes up, and we have some cool interviews for you guys in the pipeline, so when that happens, we'll have those for you, including the one from the voice actor of Ace, whose birthday, I believe it is today.
Toshio Furukawa.
Yeah, Toshio Furukawa. So we just have to, that's something that's been sitting in our storage unit, if you want to call it that, for a while. We just need to dub it and put that out there for you guys. So look forward to that. That's with him and his wife, who voices a certain character on One Piece. So why don't we go around the horn, say where people could find you. Maddie, first off, who's been doing our art, which has been amazing, and you should check out some of the alternative takes on our Patreon. But Maddie, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the letter O, that's Raspberry, where I post One Piece stuff all the time. And you can also find me on Patreon at patreon.com/OH, that's Raspberry. And there I will send you a postcard every month for $5.
And Maddie should be on a full episode either next week after, one of these coming weeks. Brian, where can people find you?
You can find me on Dark King Zoro, all one word, on Twitter. You can also look at my DeviantArt account, which I haven't updated in like 8 years, Banendorf. Also, you can check out the Animation Success Stories podcast, where we interview people who work in the industry at various levels, where we get their backstory, how they got into the animation industry. That's ASS Podcast on YouTube, if you have trouble spelling. And then I can also check me out on... I got conventions coming up. BlurredCon in 2 weeks in DC. I'll be doing a panel there about animation, probably Teen Titans Go and Rick and Morty. And then I found out recently that I'm going to be at NerdBot, which is a new convention in Pasadena, I think mid-September, late September. I'll get more detail on that later. But yeah, just find me on Twitter and find my stuff if you care at all. I don't really care, but do it.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Alex, where could people... I'm sorry, Steven, where could people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus. And as I mentioned in the intro, I will be at San Diego Comic-Con this week. And you can see our panel called Lost in Translation. That is on Thursday night at 7 p.m. in room 29AB. So you can come by and see me, Mark Simmons, Michael Gombos, Mari Morimoto, Ed Chavez, Lillian Diaz, and Julie Davis.
I see you had time to look that up.
Yes.
Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me at dude exclamation all one word on Twitter, and also Instagram if you want. This is gonna be my last podcast for a couple weeks. I'm going to Greece next week. I'll be there for about 2 weeks, and I'll try to keep you all abreast of any One Piece stuff that I see over there. You never know.
You're going to be on the Drake and the Pirates Treasure podcast.
Oh, man.
Beat me to it.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I'm leaving you to be on the Drake and the Search for the Treasure podcast. Yeah, I don't think they air it anymore, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would defo get video clips and stuff. But I'll see what I can find, if I can find anything at all. And also listen to Tohoyaro, please. That's at Tohoyaro. It's the Japanese movie podcast that I do with Joey and Scott. So it's really good.
Steve.
Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. It's Steve Yurko, all one word. Find me, I guess, roaming around San Diego Comic-Con. I think I'm going to go. I don't plan very well, but I'm planning on being there. So check me out there. And Crunchyroll Expo, I think I will be tabling there as well.
We need to get our tickets, Steve.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me in planning. I'm super busy.
Anything else, or is that your plug?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Ed, how could the good people out there contact us?
You're Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am Edward E. One Piece. The podcast can be found at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/onepiecepodcast. onepiecepodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. Please support us at patreon.com/onepiecepodcast. You can send us some piece together. r/onepiecepodcast is our subreddit. And you can also subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Google Play, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
Add that phone number is 347-497
Maja.
No. That number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Hi.
Give us a call.
With your questions, your comments, your Tamagood. Tama great. So thank you all so much for coming on the podcast. We'll be back next week with our chapter 912 recap and an anime recap and Piece Together and a lot more. So until then, my name is Zach. Not this week, next week. Until then, my name is Zach.
Well, I'm saying next week we'll be back.
We'll be back with trivia next week. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
Goodbye, everyone.
Is that your name? It ends silly.
What kind of name is that magazine? When she said, "I'll take you to Master," I was half expecting her to say, "He has the best piggies and blanket on the whole island."
You imbecile. Osama hasn't eaten piggies in the blanket in days.
Oh my god. I love the idea of an Americanized remake of this right now.
Of Wano.
Of Wano. Welcome to Dallas.
Where can I get
Big bro? Big bro, why don't you come back to my studio apartment and I'll make you some pizza.
Ooh, pizza bagels.
Sorry, a water pipe burst and it might be contaminated, so we have to boil our water.
America.
Yo!